It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer. San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Schaefer and Sliwa on this Wednesday afternoon with you until 6 p.m. reacting to the Padres series against the Phillies. Plus, Caleb Davis, San Diego State's general manager on the football side, will join us coming up at 3:30. And Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us at 5:30. The Padres have been a tough watch during this homestand, including, Alan, during this 3-game series against the Phillies. I think we said yesterday it was win day because we knew they were facing this elite starter today in Christopher Sanchez. Well, I think we're kind of right. They lose yesterday 4-3. They're losing today 2-0. Christopher Sanchez extending his scoreless streak to 44 and 2/3 innings. And while it's not over, this would be extremely disappointing. Home series against the Phillies, homestand in general, where they just cannot hit the baseball consistently. That theme continues here this afternoon.
No issues with the pitching. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's got to probably be the most frustrating part of watching the Padres right now. You got pitchers that are kind of piecing things together. No Nick Pivetta, no Joe Musgrove. And all you're asking for is just to have the offense give you a shot. The pitching has given you an opportunity in each one of these games. They're battling. They're doing everything they can. Not that it's perfect. I mean, Vasquez yesterday, what did he give up? 3 solo homers in the first 3 innings with 2 outs, ends up giving 3 or 4 runs.
You could live with it.
Not ideal.
Yeah, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
You can live with it. Yep. Again, it's the Philadelphia Phillies, so you know obviously how potent that offense is. But this offense just can't give the San Diego Padres a chance to do anything. By the way, by the time today's all said and done, if this ends up going the way it does, and if the game versus Arizona and San Francisco goes the way it does, we're looking at the Padres being tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That quick, they'd be tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks as far as the standings go, and second place or tied for second place in the NL West. So this is kind of falling apart for the Padres. Yes, they would still be 7 games over 500. Yes, the world's not going to end. But I think just for me, the thing that sticks out the most is your offense has given you absolutely no hope and no opportunity to do anything. So incredibly frustrating.
I should have put this in the rundown, and that's on me. But Manny Machado last night was asked if this is sustainable. He said absolutely not. And I think Brent actually has it. But Manny said, no, we can't keep going about it this way and remain in good standing, so to speak. It's going to all dry up. And in baseball, it happens so quickly. You just have a bad week and you go 1-6. And like all your good equity, all that work you did is kind of for naught. And you got to go do it again. You know, if they don't win this game, for example, the season's not over. Sky isn't fully falling. You'd be 7 games over 500. You're still in a decent spot, but it feels like you're giving back some of the work you had done. This was Manny Machado postgame after a 4-3 loss yesterday.
Kind of doubt that. Yeah. I think that's very, very doubtful that. One, you can't sustain it. That's number one. Number two, I kind of have confidence in everybody in this room that we're going to be right where we need to be when we need to be. Can I hope it comes sooner than later? Yeah, absolutely. We all do. And I know definitely the fans do as well. But I know everybody in his room is confident in their stuff, and we're going to get out of it. And we're going to push forward and, learn from all these games.
I was Manny Allen on if the Padres can sustain their winning percentage, if the offensive core doesn't figure it out. Marty Caswell, thank you for the audio. Mm-hmm. He said, no, I kind of doubt it. No, that's what he said.
I'm going to give, you've covered Manny longer. I mean, I've been a fan, but
sure.
So I'm watching on the outside. You have done shows around the Padres now for a number of years. Is Manny, the way he's answered some of these questions that have been addressed either towards his play or the team's offense, is he always like that?
No, actually, sometimes he's more confrontational or
defensive?
Contentious, I would say, or defensive.
Yeah.
But I think he knows that, like, the cards are on the table and, like, you're not holding any good ones. Like, it's very hard to kind of, like, defend yourself from a strong position when you're hitting 170 as a player, and the team collectively is 30th in the sport in either batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage, depending on what you're looking at.
I'm asking the question because I think he hasn't given an answer yet, at least especially these last couple of weeks. Every time he talks, I feel like every answer that he has, I'm like, Yeah, I can't argue with what he just said.
Right.
He's genuine.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not BSing anybody. He's not going back at a reporter because of, and maybe he's defenseless. Maybe there just isn't any ammo for him to be like,
right.
No, this is what it is. In one weird way, almost kind of a sign of maturity for me with Manny Machado.
Sure.
Been around the league for a long time. All right. Can he look at some of his own demeanor at times and say, yeah, I don't know if that's the best way to approach it, but there's nothing to defend. So I'm a fan of Machado's answers. Just we don't have any answers. Like there's just no answer for the Padres.
I mean, is this a conversation? We'll throw this out later in the day when we get to our talkback, Mike. But like, is this a conversation about Steven Souza Jr.? But is that then letting off the hook these high-paid players if we're going to start the conversation with Steven Souza Jr.? Or if we're going to only talk about Manny and Merrill and Tatis, are we doing a disservice? And why are we letting Steven Souza Jr. and his staff off the hook? It's kind of a chicken or egg situation. I mean, Alan, Manny Machado through today's at-bats is hitting 170. He's never been this player for this long, ever in his entire career. Now, I know he wouldn't put it on Steven Souza, and I'm sure he is confident that he'll get close to his career numbers this year. But, I mean, with every passing day, some of that confidence, even if you're Machado, has to wane, right? He's hitting 170, 55 games into the year. It's incredible to think about, truthfully.
They have 3 runs this series. They had 5 runs versus the Dodgers. They won, I know they took 2 or 3 from the Athletics, but they won one game 2-0 by having 2 hits. They lost that last game with 2 runs. What are they? 0 for their last 33 with runners in scoring position?
Worse, 34.
0 for 34 with runners in scoring position. I think, to be honest, I don't know if it's a tough one for me, but I'll just give kind of my opinion on this. The Steven Souza conversation. Yeah. You got to do something. And even if you say the conversation, even if it's, you're giving the players a free out. This is on the players. That's fine. But you can't fire a player and you can't void their contract. So then you have to say, well, okay, what's the next thing that we're going to look at? If you're the worst offensive team in all of Major League Baseball, many of the offensive categories, then you have to look at your hitting coach. Let's put it this way. Would you lose sleep? And again, I understand it if this is a little bit too extreme, but if they decided tomorrow, we got to fire our hitting coach, not because it's his fault, but because we have to do something, would you be is that something that you'd be like, oh, I can't believe they did this and this is so wrong? How would you feel about it?
Listen, it is a part of professional sports. Not that either of us are calling for him to lose his job, but I do recognize that sometimes in sports it's as simple as something like that, a change.
Use the Philly example.
Exactly.
Give the Philly example.
Accountable. I mean, the Phillies obviously fired Rob Thompson, their veteran manager who had managed in a World Series not that long ago. And Don Mattingly has completely reignited this team in a very short period of time. Now, this is different with Steven Souza. He's a hitting coach, not a manager. Your point is a valid one. You've covered sports as long as I have. How many examples are there of a little thing going a long way? And again, I'm not sitting here advocating for Steven Souza Jr. to be fired, nor are you. But it is a question.
I'm advocating for what's the solution.
Yeah, I agree.
And that is I don't even know if that's a solution, but those are the types of things you try to figure out.
Yes, there are countless number of examples of what you're saying occurring in baseball. Now, what would be atypical? Here's what's typical. A team's 23-31, Allen, hitting .218, they fire their hitting coach. What's atypical is a team is 31-23 and they're not hitting and they fire their hitting coach. That's the only part of it that would be a little curious. But do I think he lasts all year if this is truly who their offense is? No, I think there'll be a point where they would probably be forced basically to make that change. I don't know when that point would be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I mean, I think I keep going back to this. I'm just looking at, and I don't even need to do this, but some of these games, whether they won or they lost, there's just so many 2 runs, 0 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 almost counts. Yesterday, they scored 3 runs and it felt like, and obviously they go down 4-0, so they battle all the way back, battle all the way to the end. But you're about to get swept if nothing turns around here. You're about to get swept by the Phillies, and this would be a 2-4 homestand.
Even worse, right? Because the Dodgers.
Oh, that's right. The
series is
Dodgers.
in
They played 9 in a row.
It would be 3-6.
Be a 3-6 homestand. And again, the losing ground, and this is Major League Baseball, and nobody cares what's wrong with you. Nobody cares that you got players that are struggling. But you go look at the standings right now. I'll go back to it, and I think a conversation we'll have too is how do the Padres do when they play teams that are going to be in the playoff hunt? But you go look at Arizona right now. They've won 9 of 10, 4 in a row. They look like they're about to beat. I haven't seen the score, but I think it was 3-2 last I checked. 3-2. That one just came to final. Padres lose this game. They're tied with Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres will have given up about 6-7 games of ground to the Diamondbacks in a very short period of time.
And by the way, it doesn't get easier. You're right. They haven't fared well against competitive National League teams. You're going to Washington to take on the Nationals. They've been very good recently. You're going to Philadelphia where you'll face Christopher Sanchez again. Like it's the major leagues. I mean, you can't really hide from a bad offense, right? Like we're facing not very good teams, so we're going to be okay with our offense. No, they need to figure out the offense or they will be exposed over the marathon of 162 games. Plain and simple.
I would go even a step further. They're not going to be in the hunt if
that's the thing.
Like I think that the bigger question is you can't be a real contender.
Right.
And by the way, a real contender could be top 5 in the NL. Nobody's saying you have to be the best team in the National League. We've seen plenty of teams just kind of get into the playoffs and they can go from there. Yep. But how the hell are you supposed to compete when your offense is as bad as the Padres are? And by the way, let's go a step further. Guys that even players that the Padres got last season, what has Fermin done this year?
Nothing. Go
down the list. I mean, it's not like those are the only players. I know Cronenworth's been out. What was Cronenworth? What was he doing when he was in?
Laureano hasn't done much. Did homer yesterday, to his credit.
You get kind of an occasional one. What's Xander done in the last 30 days?
His OPS is under 700. You're right. It's systemic. And this is where it's kind of damning on Steven Souza.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
There's a piece of it where if you told me the Stars were killing it, but everybody else was struggling, that's one thing. If you want to tell me everybody else is killing it, which was happened for a quick second there, and the Stars were struggling, right now your offense is riding on Gavin Sheets
and Miguel Andar.
Occasionally Ty France.
And by the way, you can't ask them to be your consistent.
That's not who they are.
That's not who they are right now. And that's why the Padres are struggling to score runs. Because you've been reliant on Andahar and Sheets and France, but when they go 0 for 4 in games, who is picking them up?
It's like a bench player coming in the NBA for 2 games and putting up 18 points. You're like, yeah, that's not going to keep happening. That bench player is going to go back to averaging the 6 points he's averaged his entire career.
Right, unless it's Oklahoma City. All right, more reactions to the Padres wrapping up a series against the Phillies this afternoon at Petco. They head to the 9th. Padres are getting shut out again because they were shut out 2 days ago by the Phillies. They're getting shut out right now 2-0 to the 9th. We'll go back into the Padres on the other side. Plus Caleb Davis, San Diego State football general manager, will join us at 3:30. Plus, what a night last night in the NBA. Thunder and Spurs head into a 6th game in San Antonio. We'll react to that as well. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, America is turning 250 years old, and San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Starting Monday, listen for your chance to win $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway and visit the states, the cities, the landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. That's starting on Monday at 8 a.m. Make sure you're tuned in.
All right, Caleb Davis is San Diego State's football general manager. Game times and networks are out for the Aztecs' upcoming football season. We'll discuss that. Plus, they've got a new podcast venture as well that we'll get into with Caleb Davis coming up at 3:30. Padres are in the ninth against the Phillies. Well, full reaction. We'll hear from Craig Stammen post-game as well. Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. The issue for the Padres is, what did Yogi Berra used to say? It's deja vu all over again. I mean, the more things change, the more they're identical. Another day that's just been confounding on offense for the Padres, who are trailing the Phillies right now 3-0. They need an off day. They'll get it tomorrow, and then they'll be in Washington. They just put the numbers up for the Nats, Alan. You're not beating the Nats in D.C. 2-1. So I don't know what the elixir is or the fix is, but I can tell you this. You're going to need to score more than you've been scoring to win some of these series.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to figure it out. And we obviously don't have the answer or the solution here, but there's a part of you that's what's going to get them to what's going to get the Padres, who are they 1/3 through after today, or was that yesterday? I think it was after yesterday. You're a third through the season. Can you suddenly become a different offense if nothing changes?
It's a great question.
Or how about this? How about, hey, the first third of our season, we can't be any worse offensively, and it's only going to get better here on through. Now, you could also make the argument, is the pitching going to stay the same? Is the bullpen going to stay the same?
You say healthy, or you're going to get guys back?
Did you use a ton of guys that kind of got you through the first third of the season? That's kind of my bigger question for the Padres. If I told you this, let's assume the score stays the same. Trey Turner hit a solo shot, so they're down 3-0. Let's say the game stays the same.
Right.
You're 7 games over 500. I'll go back to this conversation because you and I have had it now all season long. We've said the same thing. There's 8 games over 500. They're 10 games over 500. I think 11 was the highest they've been so far this year. That might have even been going into the Dodgers series. I think they were 11 games over 500, even after the A's. Yeah, even after the A's series. Would you take it? If I told you before the season started, you're a third through the season, it's May 27th, you're 7 games over 500, you're 31-24.
Take it.
I'm taking it too.
Taking it.
But there's this feeling behind the 31-24. Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks will have basically the same record as the Padres. How they got here and how the Padres have got here, like there's such 2 different stories. So a lot of this just has to do with the momentum of where you're sitting. But I don't know how the offense changes. I just don't think it can get any worse. And I'm saying that trying to be as optimistic as possible, but it's as bad as it can be.
They've played, to your point, Alan, 55 games if you include today. They've been outscored in those 55 games. Yet they're 31-24. As we sit here right now, the Padres have been outscored
what
for
are
the
they?
season.
Minus what?
1. But again, it's not the only indicator. There are teams that don't have the greatest run differentials that have good records, and there's teams with decent run differentials that don't have great records. There's usually an outlier.
But I do think
it's not
it
ideal. Yeah, it's not the best way to go about it. It goes back to what Manny Machado told the media yesterday, which is like, no, I don't think it's sustainable. Like winning every game 2-1 and relying so heavily on our bullpen and not leading the way with our offense. So to your point, yeah, I'm taking 31-24, but am I expecting 31-24 for the next 55 games if this continues? Let me answer that. No, I'm not. I think they take a step back.
So let's pretend here. 31-24, a third through the season.
Yeah.
What did we say that is? 55 games. You play the same. Padres are kind of identical to what they did. Identical in the sense of this is who they are. This is their bats. This is their pitching, which has been, for the most part, pretty good. Their starting pitching, for the most part, their bullpen has been good. In a regular, you do this, you run this back and go another 55 games into the season. What are you through those 55 games?
You're probably.
I don't even think you're 500.
You're 55 and 55 after 110 games.
I don't think you're. Yeah, I was going to say you're not 500 through those 55 games.
The math supports that the 7 games you were over 500,
you'll be 7 games
you
below.
Get back. Now that doesn't mean it's going to play out like that.
Yeah.
But would I be shocked if they were 56 and 54? No, of course I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's what Manny's saying. Like this is an example, dude, where it's like, there's an emergency, but you don't see the effects until down the road. It's like things are cracking and those cracks are going to lead to more than like that's how I feel about the offense. The alarms are going off, but we're not seeing the entirety of like the catastrophe in real time. But if this continues, they're coming completely back to
It's
earth.
like you're building a home. They lay the foundation, and you're like, I think there's like a couple cracks here. Should we
just keep building?
Should we put lay down that concrete again? It's like we got to get this up. We got to get the framing up.
But that long term, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like it's an inevitable problem. So can AJ go out and make a move? He's done it before. I mean, he's done surprising things. He added Luis Ariz in April one year.
But let's say, like, how does he look at the team? Does he say, here I am. Am I going to give up these critical assets, which I don't even have that many of, because I've been giving up critical assets?
Right.
That's the question I think that Preller always has to. It's kind of a tough question that puts the Padres in, or the team puts him in. Last year, I was surprised how all in they went, because I don't think the team gave you an indication like, hey, this is the year. You're just a piece or two away. He went all freaking in.
Mm-hmm.
And it disappointed. It disappointed in the sense that they couldn't get out of the wild card round against the Chicago Cubs. Does he learn from some of those mistakes? Is he a little bit less? Is he a little bit more hesitant? Does ownership come in and be like, okay, wait, give us the game plan of what you're doing here? I mean, you are going to have, this will be the first time new ownership is also part of a free agency. Are they a little bit more, yeah, that's fine, we could keep spending, but are we also worried about what we're going to do tomorrow?
I don't know if I feel better about them in 2027, though, with their aging core than I do in 2026. Like, will it be better?
No, it won't.
In 2027, or do I chase down 2026? We'll get back to it. This game will go final. Caleb Davis, though, San Diego State's football general manager, Aztec Game Times and Networks released earlier today. We'll get into that on the other side. Then we'll hear from Craig Stammen coming up as well. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Padres and Phillies are playing game 3 of their series right now down at Petco Park. We are currently in the bottom of the 9th inning with 1 out and 1 on. The Padres still trail 3-zip. There is no NBA playoffs tonight. We have game 6 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night between the Spurs and Thunder. That will tip off after 5:30. Wish you could save on home insurance. With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
All right, we will keep you updated on the Padres and the Phillies. We'll hear from Craig Stammen postgame, and Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5:30. But always great to connect with Caleb Davis, San Diego State football general manager. Aztec football approaching here in 2026. In fact, today we learn networks and game times for 10 of the 12 Aztec regular season games this upcoming fall. So first of all, Caleb, thanks for hopping on. And then secondly, how advantageous is that to know this far in advance when you're going to be playing games this upcoming fall? We got you, Caleb?
Oh, I got you. You got me?
We do. We have you as well. Did you hear my question?
Yes. So first off, appreciate you guys for having me on as always. Apologies. I'm actually on the road up to the Orange County Caravan here.
Oh, nice. There you go.
So,
yeah.
It's a busy man right here.
There'll be another caravan tomorrow.
There you go.
Up there.
Yeah.
Yep. But then, but yeah, I think it's so great just from a planning purposes, from the fandom to be able to figure out their calendars, help plan out season ticket sales, and to know we're going to be playing on national television, one of the best non-conference games of the year, week 3 against James Madison. Yeah. And yeah, man, it's just really, really exciting to ramp up and know that we're going to be playing some high level football and some premium time slots.
Caleb, just, obviously getting ready for the season. There was some hype here over the last week or so about ticket sales for this upcoming season at Snapdragon Stadium. Give us just kind of we got a chance to connect. That was at Riverwalk when we talked a little bit about the upcoming year and some things that you're looking forward to. How are things going on that front of getting San Diegans outside of just the LUM, obviously just trying to get San Diegans to come support what should be a fun football season this year? How are things going on that front?
Absolutely. So far, from everything I've heard from the ticket office and marketing, is we've been smashing our goals, our projections. So super blessed to have a city in San Diego and a bunch of fans that are as fired up as I am for the season. And I look forward to keep on building on it. And obviously, I don't know for those that might have seen, but to have a head coach that's literally willing to take the shirt off his back to help influence 2 more season ticket sales, it makes it a lot easier when you got a coach and you got a staff as passionate as the city can be.
We touched on that a little bit last week when Sean Lewis did literally take his San Diego State Pac-12 branded polo off in order to sell a pair
John
of
will
tickets.
do it too. I just want you to know. I've seen Schaefer. Schaefer will go no shirt. He'll do a full show on YouTube. Skins.
I'd prefer 2 fewer people in the stadium and keep my shirt on, honestly. But Sean Lewis, to his credit, would not. Caleb Davis is with us right now, San Diego State football general manager. We've touched on this before, but in general, what do you make of how the schedule shakes out? It's a challenging non-conference with road games at UCLA and Toledo, a home game you just mentioned against James Madison, then, of course, the first year for the Aztecs in the Pac-12 as well. What do you make of how the schedule presents itself this upcoming year?
Oh, I absolutely love the schedule. Now, I might be a little bit more of a psychopath to where I want as hard of games as possible. And the cool thing about the movement of the Pac-12 and the non-conference schedule we have is, everything's up to us. If we handle our business, we go undefeated, we do everything and win the conference, we'll be competing for a national championship in the college football playoffs. So again, it's a super exciting home slate, inaugural season in the Pac-12. I'm just really excited for our fan base to get to soak in the inaugural season and really celebrate us as we look to bring the first new Pac-12 championship home.
What is that? Help us kind of understand that. Because I think if there's San Diegans driving around right now who are probably pulling their hair out because the Padres can't win a game if their life depended on it. Let's put that to the side for a second. But what is that? You say that so casually, but I know that this is what you guys believe. Winning the Pac-12 championship is the goal for San Diego State University. Walk me through what that process is for everybody at San Diego State that's involved in the football program. you can't get any more big of a deal. I mean, that would literally be one of the bigger events that San Diego has. If you're playing, obviously, for a Pac-12 championship, you have the ability to do that, and then you kind of wait and see if you have ability or you have the resume to get into a college football playoff game. Just walk me through that mindset. How are you guys getting to that front? It's such a bold thing to be, obviously trying to achieve, but it's the right mentality to have in regards to it.
Absolutely. I'd say first off, from the moment, obviously I got here a year ago, but I know since Coach Lewis has been here 2 years ago, the whole vision for this program, again, we hold ourselves at the highest standard than anyone else, to where our goals are to win championships, compete for national championships, and continue to graduate champions. And our standard for that is winning the Pac-12. And the great thing now is you win the Pac-12 and you have that open access into the playoffs. And that's where, again, the vision and the long-term projection and goal for us is, man, how do we continue to turn San Diego State into the next best West Coast program and the true premier program? Because now any of those glass ceilings that maybe held us back, whether it be conference affiliations or because of the state of college football, we've got a rare opportunity to capitalize on every moment, every game, every season, and really do everything we aspire to do, which is, again, compete for national championships one day.
Okay, just one quick follow-up. Do you have how does someone sitting in your seat look at a potential expanded playoffs? Is that something that you're in favor of? How can that specifically benefit San Diego State University or just the Pac-12 in general? How do you look at that, whether it's a 16, 2014 format?
I'll be completely honest. Like, at this point, I don't really have a preference either way. All I'm adamant about is that there's, as long as there's that one slot for the Pac-12 champion to go play in the playoffs, I don't care. Make it 24, make it 16, whatever you call it. Just give me the rules, and we're going to find a way to make it.
Caleb Davis with us right now, San Diego State's football general manager. Tell us about this new podcast venture, Inside the Climb. You were on it. Sam Popper, the new assistant GM on the staff as well, was on it. Episode 1 came out earlier this week. Tell us a little bit about what our listeners can hear on that podcast, which you can find if you follow Caleb Davis, for example, on social media at SDSU_Caleb Davis. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So as we kind of got here, and me and Sam Popper, I don't know if he's been on the show yet, but great new addition to the staff coming from the University of Michigan, national champions. Again, we do everything together. We bounce ideas off of each other. And as we got together and kind of kept getting around the community, you'd hear the same question over time, like, what does the GM do? What's your story? And it was really an opportunity for us to come together and share our story, share the story of San Diego State football, share our journeys, and really help build this encapsulated view of what Aztec football is and what we're building it to be. So it's a little bit of an inside look into some of our day-to-day. It's a little bit of our journeys and our processes that really go into it. And again, the whole key was, how can we share our story and continue to give back to the community and kind of give some of those inside looks that fans might not get at other programs and fans are always interested in.
Okay, what are some of those things? Tell us, and I know you guys, again, Inside the Climb, the foundation of a new era. You could find it on Spotify right now, and if there's other places, obviously you can promote it here. But what are some of those things that maybe we don't know that's part of your day-to-day or Sam's day-to-day that you guys are doing behind the scenes that you can share with some of our audience?
Yeah, I would say one of the things is just casting that long-term vision. Our standards for our program, everyone likes to celebrate the 9-win season last year. And don't get me wrong, it was a special group, but we've got aspirations so much higher than that. So there's so many things within that vision that you have to handle on the day-to-day. And it goes way more in depth than just evaluating tape and bringing in kids. And like, there are the day-to-day relationships, whether that be across campus, whether that be recruits and their families, whether that be, our coaches or other coaches. Like, there's so many relationships that go into it. And that's one of the things of just that inside look on what it actually takes to build that perennial playoff contender that we're working on building.
San Diego State's 2026 football schedule is out with game times and networks. It includes a home opener September 5th, the regular season opener against Portland State at Snapdragon Stadium on the USA Sports Network. And you can catch all the kickoff times and networks right now at goaztecs.com. Season tickets are on sale now at goaztecs.com as well. Caleb, appreciate you taking time for us. Safe travels up further north here in Southern California, and we look forward to doing it again soon.
Absolutely. Hey, John, if you don't mind, if I might plug one last thing,
Sure.
It's actually gone out on our Instagram, but June 30th, we're going to have an open invite cornhole tournament to the city of San Diego outside Snapdragon Stadium to celebrate the move into the Pac-12. And then August 15th, Fan Fest at Snapdragon Stadium. Looking to get out there, get the community involved, and really just build excitement into this season. I'm excited. It's going to be a special year, special season, and I can't wait to get the community in the city in on it.
Caleb, I don't even know where we start here.
We just
Where do we
played
start here?
cornhole before work, me and Alan, for like an hour.
Literally,
You
hour.
buried
Hey,
the lead.
I'm just glad you guys are calling it cornhole because Coach Lewis wanted me to come on here and call it bags.
Bags.
But I don't know if that's a Chicago thing,
That's a
but,
Chicago.
but it's
Yeah,
a cornhole
might be
tournament to
Chicago.
me.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we got to get
cornhole.
in that June 30th. What's the buy-in? 20K per team, or where we playing high stakes, or is this more of a free event?
Shoot, if that's the case, we might as well make it a tie-in to the
NIL.
retention fund.
Yeah, I'm
Well, yeah.
icing. Just so you know, I'm icing my shoulder right now. I'm 2 to 4 weeks, but I should be
June
ready by then.
30th? We'll have you on before then to promote that because we're looking forward to that. We'll be there for
Yeah,
that.
we'll be there.
We'll be there for that. Thanks, Caleb.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Caleb Davis from San Diego State. Let's turn our attention to the Padres, who have officially been swept at home by the Phillies. Full reaction coming up next. We want to hear from you.
Let's throw out that number right now.
877-767-4760. We want to hear from you. You can also hit us up on the talkback mic. Your reaction to the Padres getting swept at home by the Phillies. Open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the red talkback mic if you want to weigh in on that talkback mic. But we do want to hear from you. Anemic offense from the Padres during this 9-game homestand where they go 3-6. 877-767-4760. We'll hear from Craig Stammen. Kevin Acee joins us at 5:30 on Schaefer and Sliwa. Stay with us. All right, 877-767-4760 if you want to vent with us. Padres swept at home by the Phillies to complete a 3-6 homestand. They were shut out twice in the last 3 days by the Phillies. We'll hear from Craig Stammen coming up momentarily as well. Just a low point, clearly. They're still 7 games over 500, but the offensive ineptitude reaches new lows during this homestand at Petco Park against the Dodgers and even the A's and certainly the Phillies this past 3 days. Just you're looking to turn the page. I don't know if you can, though. I mean, what does turning the page mean? You get a day off tomorrow. Good.
No, you don't turn the page.
You're facing these same teams. You're facing the Phillies in 3 days.
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
You don't change. I think this is today is no question about it, the day where you kind of let out some of those frustrations, the emotions of just watching the Padres over a 9-game homestand average 2 runs.
Yeah, that's not great.
Their batting average was under 180 or 180, something along those lines. I mean, these 9 games is a perfect example. It's one thing if I told you that the pitching staff is just, they're not giving the Padres any shot at winning these games. Now, listen, giving up runs early, which they have done over the course, not today, but over these last kind of handful of games, they've certainly had a few games where they've given up some runs in the first few innings, but pitching is doing their job. The bullpen typically, when they get an opportunity, is doing their job. All right, maybe Estrada gives up a solo shot here. Maybe something's happening, but the bullpen's not losing you games. You just went through a 9-game stretch where you're not even hitting 180.
Then
Walker Buehler just gave up 2 runs and pitched 5 1/3, I think it was. Maybe their pitching is not perfect, but their pitching is good enough for you to win games. All you're asking your offense to do is
score.
Give us something. Give us something. Yeah. And they clearly don't have guys that have been able to do that consistently all season long. And some of those players are guys that you depend on. Some of those guys are players that maybe you depend less on, but nobody's doing anything for them right now.
Yeah, it's funny because like today we've been so critical. It's so easy to go in on Machado and Tatis and Merrill. Tatis had 2 more hits today. He's actually been on base a ton this homestand. Jackson Merrill today had 2 hits. Machado had a base hit taken away from him in the left center field gap, whatever that's worth. He was 0 for 4 here today. Here is the true issue. In addition to their offense just being flat out bad, they're even worse when given opportunities. When a runner is at second or third, they do not come through. They're 0 for their last 35. A no-hitter is 0 for 27. They're 0 for their last 35. That's 11 2/3 innings of opportunities without a hit in those spots. They have had this issue before over parts of this decade. They've had decent hitting teams in the clutch. They've had terrible hitting teams in the clutch. This is the least clutch team. This is probably recency bias because they've had terrible teams. This team is so not clutch. Simple as that. They're not clutch other than in the 9th inning from Nick Castellanos or Gavin Sheets. And when that luck runs out, they're 0 for their last 35 with runners in scoring position. Yeah,
you don't need Hail Marys. I mean, if you're in the NFL and you win 2 weeks in a row because you threw the ball from the 50-yard line and it got tipped.
Exactly.
Yeah, you take the win, but you're not drawing up a play going into practice and saying this is our model to win.
2 outs in the 9th.
2 outs in the 9th.
Down 2.
That's all. That's all we have to do is just hit a 3-run homer. And I'm looking at some of the chats or looking at some of the comments in our chat. By the way, Schaefer and Sliwa on YouTube, you can watch us. Obviously, you can listen on the iHeartRadio app, also, of course, on 760. But some of the comments here and just kind of seeing the way people are talking. And I think this is just today's loss is one thing because you're going up against arguably the best pitcher in baseball. But the problem is not when you're facing great elite pitching. The problem is every single game, and it doesn't matter who the pitcher is, you don't have confidence that the Padres are going to do anything. I'll stop a little bit. You said that, Tatis had another 2 hits today, right? Am I supposed to, is that like the bar now? Is that Tatis hits a couple of singles, maybe an infield single, and that's the bar to give Tatis? It's May freaking 27th. And Fernando Tatis Jr. still does not have a home run. And we got to come on here and say that, well, the guy slapped a couple of singles and everyone's supposed to get excited about it.
Well, it's fair. He's reached base safely in 11 consecutive games. He's not their number one issue, in my opinion, right now. It's easy to look at the goose egg.
I get it, but just I go back to it. is that what Tatis gets paid for? Is that the face of this franchise?
No.
Is Fernando Tatis Jr. supposed to be the player that you put up these 100-foot banners in front of Petco so he could slap a couple of singles?
No, but wouldn't you agree? I agree. But wouldn't you agree that there's now even more concerning problems, like systematic everywhere? It's like we're talking about this tire being blown out. The car exploded.
No, I think the point I'm trying to make is we are lowering our bar to such a stretch for individual players. It's almost becoming pathetic.
No, I mean, I don't feel that way with Tatis. I mean, we've hammered him.
I know that. No, I'm not saying that we are not. I don't even want to put into the conversation of like, well, let's not hammer him today because the guy slapped a couple singles. I'm not telling you that he's as bad today as he might have been 2 weeks ago. He's had plenty of moments. I mean, in the Dodger series, what was it? Coming in the ninth, down 5-4, and it slaps a quick single. The series against, I'm trying to draw off the top of my head here, trying to think of some other situations. I know Machado has had situations as well, but it's like, damn, we're continuing to lower the bar for the stars as well.
I mean, I'll lower the bar when I need to. Listen, I'm the first to get on Tatis. I definitely understand the point. He has 8 hits in his last 4 games. So I'm not going there. Like, if he hits 1 home run and then goes 1 for his next 16, is that more impressive than having 8 hits over the last 4 games? The guy's hitting 260 something. Nobody on his team's hitting 260. I agree. He cannot hit for power. It is a massive, massive, massive problem. But my takeaway this series isn't really Tatis. My takeaway this series is what on earth is going on with this lineup? How come they can't come through in the clutch? And how is this team as bad as they are collectively as they are right now? That's my takeaway right now.
I mean, listen, as a team, of course, I guess I'm so frustrated at everything that it's like, where do you focus your attention on?
Sure.
And again, I don't think like nobody's setting this bar at this like unbelievable level for the Padres.
Right.
Nobody's telling you that you got to go out. We've seen what some of these teams have. Philly's a great example. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, like they got the guys that at any time can take you and walk you through a 3-game set or a 5-game set in the postseason and carry you. That kind of going back to the Stars, there isn't even this like glimmer of hope that I'm watching. I don't care. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Tatis can hit 38 singles over the next 30 games or 20 games, and everybody can kind of sit here and say, well, the guy's starting to get some singles. He doesn't have a home run, and it's May 27th.
We know that. I agree. Everyone agrees. That's like arguing. That's like, but you're preaching to a choir.
I know I'm preaching to a choir.
A choir.
I get I'm preaching to a choir, but it's like, it's just dawning on me that he slaps a couple base hits and we want to hold a parade for him.
No, well, it's not that. If he goes, okay, I'll give you an example. He goes on the road and goes 3 for 5 against the Nationals on Friday, but doesn't homer. Tatis hasn't homered. I mean, I get it. Of course he has it.
It's not even just homering. It's driving runs in. It's extra base hits.
No one, literally, like I'm knocking on all the doors. They're not doing anything. To your point, they scored 2 runs over these 9 games. I agree with you. I'm yelling at you because I agree with you.
You can yell. I'm
not yelling. I agree with you. But like, what else can we say about Tatis? Like, he's not the same player as the first 3 years. I want to curse. No crap. That's you know what I mean? Like, he isn't. I hate lowering the bar for him. But you're right. We had to lower the bar's been way lowered. This isn't about 2019
we said yesterday having 12 home runs, we would be okay with
exactly.
it.
So the bar's already lowered.
You know how pathetic I sound to say it's okay for Tatis to get 12 home runs this year?
We've already lowered the bar. Dude, I'm the one. It's so fun. I'm the one that said I would consider moving the player before the contract is up. People are like, they'll never move Tatis. Of course they will. Of course, there'll be a time where this isn't going to work for anyone, including Fernando Tatis Jr., but they have so many more problems.
How do you hang? Like, how do you? Actually, I got the answer. I just figured out the answer. I was about to ask the question of how do you hang in the NL like this? You just don't.
They are so far somehow.
But you don't. Like you don't. The NL, to just get into the NL, all you're asking for, you went 11 games over 500. Maybe you were beating up on some teams that were you took advantage of. It's fine. I don't care how you win them, just win them. But now you're starting to play teams. You lost 2 or 3 against Philadelphia. You lost 2 or 3 against the Dodgers. You lost 2 of 3 against Milwaukee, and it took a Gavin Sheets 3-run homer, bottom of the or top of the 9th with 2 outs. How many did they lose against the Cubs? They lose 2 or 3 against Chicago?
Have they played 2 series against Chicago?
Maybe they've played 2. I'll look here in a second.
It doesn't, yeah.
Well, this is the only reason why it matters. It only matters because how do you look against playoff teams? How do you look against teams that you feel like you're going to face in the postseason?
You got to get there, though.
Well,
right.
But what I'm saying is, like, through the first third of the season, I don't know how you like to gauge certain games, but I like to look at, okay, if we face this team in the postseason, what's going to look like? Are they beating Philly in a 3-game set?
You can't. Here's what I've learned covering baseball this long. You can't say based on a May series result what's going to happen 4 months later.
Not a May season result, how they play.
Yeah, but things can change so drastically. It's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it is. Do I think all hope is lost because this team has lost 4 consecutive games?
No, John. But we're not. I don't think you and I are talking about 4 consecutive losses.
We're talking about
how dismal their offense is.
But you think because of that the hope is lost in their ability to get to the postseason?
Their hope is lost if these guys cannot how many different players do you have that are ineffective right now offensively? That's how the hope would be lost.
I know, but
it's a third of the season. It doesn't mean that it doesn't change, but I'm basing it off of what I've seen so far. That's all.
I saw a 2021 team, 19 games over 500, 100 games in, look terrible and miss the postseason. I've seen everything over the last 7 or 8 years. I've seen every which way. It's never a straight line with the Padres. I remember we said that when we started the show together. Outside of teams like the LA Dodgers that have straight line seasons, sometimes the Padres never have a straight line season.
Which is okay.
It's never going to be simple and easy.
And it doesn't have
to be dirty.
Which is okay. Like, I actually kind of like. I like the character of the team that, obviously figure out. It doesn't have to be a perfect. It doesn't have to be a perfect path. But are you seeing things from them right now that are But that's my point.
But I also think that things can change. As crazy as it sounds. And we'll discuss it on the other side and hear from Craig Stammen. Stay where you are if you're on the lines. We'll get to all the calls.
I'll freaking fight you.
I'll
fight you right now.
Mike, 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in. We're giving away some prizes on our Talkback Mike this afternoon as well. Here until 6. Full reaction to the Padres getting swept at home by the Phillies. Hour 2, Schaefer and Sliwa coming up next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Padres and Phillies just finished their game 3 of their series down at Petco. The Padres lost 3-0. They're off tomorrow, and then they're off to Washington for a weekend series against the Nationals. No NBA playoffs today. The Western Conference Finals are back tomorrow. We got game 6 between the Thunder and Spurs. They'll tip after 5:30. Facing production swings or a tough skills gap, Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals makes hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster for contract and full-time jobs. Visit expresspros.com.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer and San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Your Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, hour 2 here on Schaefer and Sliwa. We're in full reaction mode to the Padres getting swept by the Phillies. Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. Our phone lines are open, 877-767-4760. But here's the other thing. Our talkback is open. If you use it, you're eligible to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. You need to use it this hour. We'll announce the winner this hour. Here's today's question. Do you blame the hitting coach more or the players more for these offensive struggles? Who gets more of the blame right now? Steven Souza Jr., the hitting coach, or these players right now for the struggle? Open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the red microphone icon, leave a talkback. Who do you blame more, Steven Souza or the players? We'll play some of those talkbacks. We'll announce a winner of a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair coming up later this hour. But again, rains, pours, whatever the cliche is, just anemic offense all week long for the Padres, who are swept here at home by the Phillies.
If I'm answering that question,
yeah,
I'm going to tell you this. It is as unfair as can be to say that this is all on Steven Souza Jr.
Okay.
But here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to allow this season to be swept away and not make some kind of change. The problem the Padres are in. I mean, you and I were just having this conversation about, like, Al, it's not going to get better a year from now.
Right.
These guys are only going to obviously get older. You probably become more and more concerned of, is your window open? Is it closed? I mean, we could sit here and make that argument over the years. It's only that window's only going to get more and more closed. So then this becomes a very critical year of what do you do this season to address this season? If you have one of the worst offenses in all of baseball, is it Steven Souza Jr.'s fault that Tatis hasn't hit a home run this year? Probably not. Is it Steven Souza Jr.'s fault that Manny Machado is his worst batting average he's ever had in 15 years? Probably not. Jackson Merrill struggles. Xander, go down the list. No, it's not. But what the hell do you address if it's not your hitting coach?
Right, because the players aren't going anywhere.
Players aren't going anywhere. But it can be kind of both things. I could tell you that it's not all on him, but I could also say you can't be the hitting coach of the San Diego Padres and have this
and not hit
pathetic of stats like they have offensively and just say, well, we'll just hopefully this is going to change. Now, I'm not telling you today you make that change, but come on, let's not pretend you're not going to have that conversation. And those conversations aren't being had with Craig Stammen and the rest of the staff.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot. I agree. I mean, I think it's at least a question worth posing. I'm not going to sit here today and advocate for it to happen, but there'll be a moment where I may advocate for something like that to happen. Let's go to the phones right now. 877-767-4760. Padres swept at home by the Phillies. They're just awful offensive productivity, slumping, whatever. Struggles continue. They've just done nothing.
We could have been in the lineup, and honestly, it would have been no worse.
They were shut out, twice this series? Let's go to the phones. 877-767-4760. John wants to weigh in on the Padres struggles. John, you're on with Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, hey, guys.
What's up, man?
So the thing is, how come every hitter that comes to play for the Padres seems to their numbers drop dramatically? I mean, Steven Souza wasn't the hitting coach for the last,
You're right.
7 years, and yet you get big time hitter after big time hitter, and their numbers drop.
All right, thank you, John. I mean, here's the funny thing is there's some of the periphery players they don't. Miguel Andujar has been fine. Gavin Sheets since coming here has been better than he was with the White Sox. Ty France has bounced back from his career lows of the last couple of years. The bargain hunting The like dollar whatever store shopping, they've been good.
No pressure on those guys.
Everything else has been an abject failure. I agree. All of them. Cronenworth's deal. I mean, go to the pitching side. Darvish's deal. Hate to say it because the injury. Musgrove's deal. Machado's extension. Bogart's deal. Merrill's extension. You know, on its face, none of them have been good. None of them, unfortunately.
And if I go back, listen, the call is a good point, as in, well, there's been other hitting, obviously,
tons.
Over the last handful of years. Victor Rodriguez, which I think now is in Houston, if I'm right. He's with the Astros. Are you going to blame every hitting coach on the Padres or on every hitting coach rather than the players? I want to make things very clear. If tomorrow they decided they're firing Steven Souza Jr., I'm not going to say, okay, well, the answers, you found the answer, right, and this is not on Tatis, and it's not on Machado, and it's not on Merrill, and it's not on Xander, and it's not on Laureano and Fermin. Go down the list because we got a very long list that we can go down. But what do you do then? We just watched. Look, Philadelphia started the season, I want to say 9-19 was their record. They fire their manager. Now they're 2-3 games over 500. Was that because of the manager? I don't have the answer for you. But they reached a point where they said, we have to do something. We can't lose the season. They're in a win now mode as well.
Sure.
Their payroll is incredibly high. They got to the World Series and haven't gotten back. And their criteria every single year is to win a World Series, and they've yet to do it under this crew. So what should they have done? Just keep waiting until they're 15 games below 500? Now, the Padres are in a much different spot. They're still 7 games over 500. They're right in the thick of things. And frankly, maybe this is a completely different conversation if they were 7 games below 500 and they're hitting. But I think the point that we're all trying to make here, based on their offense, that's the direction they're heading in. Based on how poor their offense has been, we can't sit here 30 days from now and be like, hey, they're still right in the thick of things, 7 games over 500. I think they're clearly trending towards a direction if this offense continues the way it is.
Yeah, it's not encouraging. I don't think, by the way, I don't think they make a move. I really don't. Now, is there a time where they would make a move? Yes. I don't think it's now. I really don't. I think Preller, by and large, even with all the turnover on his coaching staffs, there's been a lot beyond hitting coaches, just turnover on staffs,
which is not good.
Oftentimes that occurs at the end of seasons or close to the end of seasons. Now, if this thing completely went down the tank, of course, that's a different conversation.
But does it need to go down the tank, or does it just need to stay where it is? Because where it is in the tank.
Yeah, I agree. But the record, I think, is a part of that conversation that probably puts off that conversation for a longer period of time. But your point is valid. I mean, your point's valid. Let's go back to the phones, 877-767-4760, or use the talkback mic if you want to weigh in on the iHeartRadio app. Let's go to Dave on line 2. Dave, loyal caller, back with us here on Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling in, Dave.
Well, thanks for having us all. Basically, guys, it's nice to have the forum here. So, Alan, what Alan's saying a little bit, and I understand both of you, and so I'll try to come through the middle on this. Alan's talking about trend lines. Trend lines right now, when you have a 3-6 homestand, and you've had this persistent problem that we had last year, guys. Let's not forget that this hitting problem was prevalent all last season to the point that they fired the last hitting coach. Now we're talking about this. Look, at some point in time, you got to pin the tail on the donkey, which goes right back up to the top, to the guy who has put us into contract purgatory, to where we can't move these guys, yet they are aging and getting more unhealthy by the day. On top of that, you've got a guy in Manny Machado who is year 15. He's nowhere closer now to a World Series than he was 5 years ago, frankly. And you've got too many players on this team as well in this day-to-day lineup of hitters that are the same kind of hitters. So you've got this dysfunctional lineup, frankly, that they're all the same. And they're streak, singles, doubles hitters when they're going good. When they aren't, they're in the tank together collectively. There's no power here. There's nobody that outside of Gavin Sheets that has any power consistently. And even Gavin at times flames out. So I go right back up to the top. And, if you're going to blame somebody at this point, blame the guy that keeps trotting out the same lineup because he has to, because he put us in this mess. And by the way, weren't we all very cool about this a few years ago and said, oh, well, let's sign the contracts. We don't care about the future. Well, guess what? The future's here, guys. And this is what it looks like.
Appreciate it. I don't think a lot of people, and John, you could answer this question more. When Manny Machado signed his contract, were you like,
everyone celebrated it like it was 1999?
Okay,
it was a Prince song.
Then help me here, because I'm not here. I'm not on radio when that was going on.
It was one of the biggest moments.
Wait.
In the last decade here.
But let's stop here for a second.
Yeah.
It's impossible that anybody thought 5 years into this contract, they're going to be like, hey, this is a great contract. Nobody thought that.
No, the extension or the contract?
The extension.
Oh, that was wildly controversial.
Okay.
Wildly controversial. Yeah, the celebration was in 2019. The extension was very controversial because of the length of it.
The extension is what I'm referring to. And I'll go back to what Dave just said. And he said that everyone was celebrating. He said, I'm thinking he's talking about the extension.
Okay.
He's got to be talking about the extension.
Well, the extension was not everyone celebrating.
Okay.
Yes.
There's more of a, what's this going to be?
Absolutely.
Here's the issue that I have. And, I think San Diego's been put in a very difficult position. And I understand what the front office was trying to do a few years back. Peter Seidler was trying to win a World Series. And I think Seidler knew, of course he knew, and I guarantee you AJ Preller knew as well, these contracts aren't going to age well. It's the only way we're going to get Xander Bogaerts. Only way we're going to get Xander is we got to pay him an absurd amount of money. Obviously too many years. The same thing with Machado. It's like they almost had no choice there but to give him that contract, even though I would tell you that, I know he could have opted out and made a decision.
Yeah.
The bad contracts that the Padres have today was in a circumstance and at a time in Padre history with Peter Seidler where it just felt like, guys, this is what we have to do. We're going all in. So it's tough for me to be overly critical about that moment because I don't think that moment was normal. I think that moment was at a time where Peter Seidler had no idea how long he was going to be here and he wanted to do everything he can. So it's like it puts it in a tough position. We all know the contracts are going to be bad. There's nobody that you could just have common sense. Nobody's sitting here and saying that Machado's contract wasn't going to be bad by the time you get towards the end. Here's the issue with the contracts. They can't be bad in 2026 and 2027 and 2028.
Yeah, they're supposed to be bad in 2030.
They're supposed to kick in later.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
That's the issue.
Yeah, and who gets the blame there? It goes back to the players. I mean, put it wherever you want. Put it on Preller. Put it on the previous regime. Put it on Steven Souza. Put it wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to fix anything, sadly. That's the hard part of it. We'll get to more of your calls on the other side. Plus, hear from Craig Stammen. Kevin Acee will join us with more coming up at 5:30. He'll join us live. We'll get your talkbacks as well if you want to qualify to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Open up the iHeartRadio app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click on the talkback mic, and you can weigh in as well. We'll announce the winner of those tickets coming up later this hour. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Don't worry about what reads I have, okay?
I want to hear this read.
Just leave me alone here for a second. San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time to donate to a classroom project, and your donation will be matched by Donors Choose. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. That's iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
According to Darnay Tripp, NBC7, the Padres were 2 for their last 46 with runners in scoring position on the homestand. And I think 0 for 34 to finish it, maybe 0 for 35. Whatever it was, it's just been awful. Let's go to the phones. We're going to hear from Kevin Acee at 5:30. We'll hear from Craig Stammen coming up in a moment. If you want to weigh in, 877-767-4760. Jed is in San Diego. He wants to talk about the Padres. And Jed, you're on with Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely, boys. Thanks for taking my call. And first of all, John, I want to say I'm a huge fan of Collective, so keep rolling with that.
Padres Collective, appreciate it.
But also, yes, sir. But I've been saying it for years. I truthfully don't think this Padres team is going to win anything as long as Manny Machado is rocking that C on his chest as the captain, because unfortunately he just doesn't know how to win. And until they get a veteran in that clubhouse that can speak up and everybody else will listen, that has done some winning and will teach those boys how to win, I think we're just kind of dealing with what we deal with right now. And for the last 4 years, if you look at it, it hasn't been the stars that have starred that got us to where we've gone. It's been the Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter experience. That season was a failure. Solano Peralta experience. They did well. The team did well. Last year, Gurriel and Maldonado had a great experience. And to start the year, the France, Castellanos, and Duhart was good. Now they're slacking, and now the team's slacking. So it's really not the stars. It's the fringe players that's kind of making up the nucleus of this right now.
Jed, did you hear any of Manny's some of his pressers over the last week or two? Just kind of owning up to it, because here's the reason why I'm asking you is, and I asked John this as well. It felt a little different from Manny, and I can't disagree with you that, hey, can Manny Machado be the best player or the leader on a World Series champion? Well, it hasn't happened yet, but for me, in a weird way, listening to him these last couple of weeks, maybe a little encouraging there. You agree with that or no?
I agree with you, and really the one reason I feel the way I do, it's a quote that he said a couple of years ago that actually stood out with me. He was going through a rough patch, and he said, "I'll be where I need to be when I need to be," meaning he would get his numbers by the end of the year. Well, unfortunately, he's never won an MVP, never won a World Series, so maybe those numbers on the back of the baseball card aren't good enough. He shouldn't be where he needs to be at the end of the year. He needs to lead this team all the way through. And I get it, he's owning up to it now, but there's been plenty of times that he's been going through a rough patch, and his batting average wasn't 170, so everybody wasn't looking at him, and he still kind of plays it off like cool guy. Yeah. I think the batting average is so low right now, he's got nothing else to do but say he sucks.
Jed, to your point, and thanks for the call. Like, I'm on Team Jed in terms of, like, I don't care about your numbers, dude. I care about the team. I'll say this right now. I've said it before. He's a bad leader. He is a bad leader. What is this high school baseball quoted by Kevin Acee saying that? It's a really bad look. I think he's entertaining. I think he's unique. I appreciate his transparency and honesty. I appreciate he speaks his mind. There's characteristics I love about the player. I think he's brilliantly talented. We've seen it firsthand. But I also think two things can be true. In fact, I think he's worse than a bad leader. I think he's a terrible leader. I really do. And like, look at his career postseason. He's never come up big. He hasn't guided his teams to deep playoff runs. That's on the captain. That's on the heavy is the head that wears the crown guy. And that's on him. It just is. And it sucks to put it that bluntly, but like, when Manny came here in 2019, was it acceptable for him to not play in a World Series with the Padres? Of course not. Mm-hmm. That the town was at a fever pitch. The expectation was to win a World Series. I don't know if that's the expectation anymore. The idea that he could go his whole career here and not play in a World Series would be a travesty.
I think there's a lot of great players that have choked in the postseason. We've watched them. Great players. And I think there's a lot of great players that haven't won a World Series or got to a World Series.
True. He's a lot.
However, there is something about your leadership. And I think I could separate, because I've seen plenty of guys in playoff performances. The Padres just took on the Phillies today.
Yep.
You see some of these dudes in the postseason last year against the Dodgers. They were awful, big time players. Bryce Harper's never won a World Series. I'm not even here to defend the Machado front, but I will say the thing that you said that stuck out to me more than anything else. If you're asking the question of, Is Manny Machado a leader? That question. Isolate that one question. Yeah, I don't know if that's the dude that you want to have leading your pack. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Two things. You're right. The leadership conversation is different than what your career playoff numbers are. But
because you could be a player that's not as impactful and be a phenomenal leader, but you don't have the numbers. Machado can give you the numbers, but leadership, I don't think. If Manny Machado is the one like get on my shoulders, my back, and I'm taking us to the promised land, I don't feel comfortable with that.
He said 209 in his playoff career in 51 games. Like that's the Clayton Kershaw of position players in the postseason. How can you be a first ballot Hall of Famer and hit 251 playoff games and be this? Again, you're right. It's different. I get it. There's no guarantee that you come through. Like that doesn't, just because you don't come through the postseason doesn't mean you're not a good leader of men. But what if you're not a good leader of men and you're not clutch in the postseason?
Mm-hmm.
Then what are you? Then you're Manny.
Here's the. Oof.
I mean, I hate to put it that bluntly,
listen,
but
no. Listen, it's important. Actually, it's okay. I mean, nobody's trying to take.
Not listening.
Nobody's trying to take personal shots at anybody, but it is our job to be honest when it comes to any conversation that we're having, and that's a good conversation to have. And I don't think too many people are going to be sitting there and saying like you're wrong on Manny. I think that kind of comes with the territory. It doesn't mean the guy hasn't been a baller. It doesn't mean he hasn't represented San Diego as best as he can. It doesn't mean that he's kind of decided I'm going to go through the fire with the city. I'm going to be part of SDFC, all that stuff. I think there's some great things Manny Machado has brought to the table, but we are assessing him on how do you lead the San Diego Padres. And that's the question that I think is fair to have. Here's the one thing I will say, and I think that as we look at big picture with the Padres, by the way, if they would have won this game, what would have happened today?
It's a completely different conversation.
So, I mean, it kind of just shows you how easily emotionally you can get pulled on one game in a baseball game.
100%.
But I will tell you this, and this is what the Padres are going to have to figure out. He's not going anywhere today. He's not going anywhere tomorrow. Neither are a lot of these main players that are a part of the Padres right now. Merrill's going to be here for a handful of years. Machado's going to be here for a handful of years. Sanders going to be here for a handful of years. And so is Fernando Tatis Jr. So the question becomes, they're going to have to figure something out. And I think we'll go back to what we were originally saying. What do? Are they more aggressive at the deadline? Are they trying to go get bats? Are they getting rid of their hitting coach? Because the further you get into these guys' contracts, specifically Xander and Manny Machado, the more ugly it's going to be. So are you continuing to go in? Are you continuing to say, all right, I'm already all in. I got to go a little bit more all in.
What other choice do you have? Because if the contracts are immovable, what other choice do you have other than to follow it to whatever path the end result is?
I'm okay with that.
If
I'm being honest with you.
I mean, if they had a choice, if they could get out from underneath any of the money, they'd have a choice. I just don't know.
They will have an opportunity to get out of those contracts, but it's probably not going to be for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. That's the problem. More on this. Let's hear from Craig Stammen on the other side. We'll hear his post-game comments. Padres swept at home by the Phillies. We're here until 6, reacting to your talkbacks as well. Open the app. Search for 760. Click that red microphone icon. We'll play those as well. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair this hour on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. The Padres lost game 3 to the Phillies today down at Petco Park, getting swept. The final score was 3-0. They have an off day tomorrow, and then they travel to Washington for a weekend series against the Nationals. No NBA playoffs today, but the Western Conference Finals are back tomorrow. We got game 6 of Thunder Spurs that will tip off a little after 5:30. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Honestly, this to me has been a spirited, entertaining first 90 minutes of the show. I mean, nobody wants the results. The Padres have lost 6 of 9 on this homestand. Just got swept by the
2
Phillies,
runs a game in this 9-game homestand.
But don't you feel like
so bad at home?
They're 500 at
one
home,
of the best
and
records on the road.
Over on the road. Don't you feel like though sometimes you need to get things off your chest? Like it's a good thing sometimes to, like this has to be. Like earlier, you were talking about Tatis. How can we go this long? How can we lower the expectations? Fair point.
First time I yelled at you.
You didn't yell at me. You were yelling at Tatis.
I was yelling at you.
Whatever. And then I just went off on Manny Machado. By the way, I could go harder. I honestly, I feel like I didn't go that hard on Machado. Like, if,
what would you say? What would you say?
If I honestly wanted to speak my mind on Machado and was doing like a podcast, like if it was whatever, the wrap-up show or something, and if I just had 30 minutes to go on it, I would go down the path of, why did the Dodgers not offer Manny Machado a contract? They had him in their building firsthand for 2 months. They went to the World Series that year, but they had the firsthand knowledge where they didn't even offer this man a deal coming off of 2018. Now, they were dealing with injuries, obviously, so you could argue that, and that's why they acquired him. But it's like a lot of the things that people say on the outside about Manny Machado, I mean, maybe there's a reason they say it. Like, Padres fans have routinely looked the other way because he's our guy. He's our Manny. But but when you look at the end result, which is he's been here 8 years. He hasn't played in the World Series. He's hitting 169. He's turning 34 on July 1st. Is it going to? Yes, it's going to get better. I don't think he's hitting 169, but like, if you think there's still all these years for him to reach the promised land for the Padres, I remember saying the day he signed here, if he doesn't reach or win a World Series, it's massively disappointing. Has that now changed? Has that changed 8 years in? Is it no longer massively disappointing if the highest paid player, the most marketable star in the history of the organization doesn't reach a World Series? That's cool. Alan? You know?
I don't know if I agree with everything. I think for me, the Machado piece is more the extension.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with signing Manny Machado. I don't have an issue with Manny Machado being the face of the franchise. I don't know if you had enough grown-ups with Manny Machado, so he doesn't. You said something earlier. He ain't a leader, so let's not pretend like he is. Well, you can still have the best player on your team not be the leader.
Correct.
You can still have guys that are in the, that are a part of the organization that maybe they don't hit 35 home runs a year or 30 home runs, but when they talk, everybody listens. Or that individual can go to Manny Machado, pull him to the side and say, that's not how we're going to do things here. I don't care what your numbers are. I don't care what the back of your baseball card is. If you want to lead, that's not how you lead. A lot of organizations have players that are the best player on the team, and then they also have leaders, and they kind of mix that together, and it's the right recipe.
Agreed.
The Machado piece, listen, I think Machado he's been an absolute postseason is you need your best players to be the best version of themselves in the postseason. Sure. But you and I have watched enough baseball where that doesn't always happen.
I agree.
And it's not just Manny Machado. The problem with Manny Machado, again, I'll go back to it, is the extension. The problem with Manny Machado is if you told me his contract's up in a couple of years,
it would be water under the bridge.
It's like, all right, kind of not mission accomplished. I don't even think if you told me that the Padres this season that they got get past the Dodgers and they play Philadelphia in that divisional championship. If you told me they got to the World Series that year and they lost, they just lost.
2022.
2022.
Oh, if they would have gotten out of the NLCS to the World Series.
Get out of the NLCS. I mean, of course, everybody's goal is you want to get your first championship in San Diego. But even if Manny Machado just got you to a World Series, you're now in a conversation with Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman, and some of these other players. But he hasn't, and so I'm not going to pretend he hasn't. But I guess what you said is you're going through. It's not just Manny Machado. I think it's an era of Padres baseball where you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, well,
and how much of that is on Manny, and how much is that is also on a collective of individuals plus a front office?
He signed the richest deal in American sports history for a brief period of time, the $300 million deal. They doubled down on him for $350. He went into that spring training saying they had money for Xander. What about me? So, like, he has put himself in this position. He has done this to himself.
I don't know if he has.
I mean,
he's not. Listen, at the end of the day, who's giving you the contract?
I understand, but I'm saying that's who the player. You're right. I'm not saying it doesn't take two to tango.
And the Xander contract, we all knew at the time. You're like, listen, you were excited about it, but I don't think anybody was sitting there saying like, "That's."
But I'm saying when you take $300 million contracts, the fallout is severe when you don't accomplish the goals set out by either yourself or the organization. If we played back that video of him in Peoria in 2019 wearing a Navy hat, he's talking about winning at a high level. He's not talking about coming here and this should be fun and I hope I get my numbers.
But can I stop you here for a second? Because this is going to sound pathetic, but it's the truth. They've never been to the playoffs 4 out of 6 years. They have had success over this stretch of this Manny Machado era that the organization hasn't necessarily had a sustained success. We got to stop comparing this franchise to the franchise 2 hours north and why they didn't sign him. There's also a reason why didn't the Boston Red Sox go pay $200 plus for Xander Bogaerts because he's not worth it.
Dodgers, though, it's like if you're going to have a top 3 payroll in the sport, then at some point you got to break through. And they had a top 3 payroll in the sport. They have a top 10 payroll right now. I mean, the Dodgers haven't played in every World Series since Manny Machado signed in San Diego.
And I don't think you could compare anything that San Diego's. There's other teams that there are good comps for. That's not the right comp.
Well, I'll put it as plainly as this. Going back to the 2019 offseason, when you're choosing between Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, they chose wrong. I mean, Bryce Harper has carried the Phillies. He hasn't won a World Series, but his legacy is different for me than Manny's because he has performed, although his numbers in the postseason aren't elite. Go back and look at the 2022 postseason. Why were the Phillies still playing and the Padres sitting at home?
He carried
Circle Bryce Harper. So, like,
he carried him in clutch situations too.
One time do that in a postseason? I mean, again, we're all over the place right now.
I know, yeah.
But I'm saying, why can't he? I'm sorry, if his career comes to an end here and he doesn't appear in a World Series, and by the way, I think he had a better chance from 2019 to 2025 than he has 2026 to 2033.
Yeah.
So if you don't get to a World Series, how can you not look at that with a very critical eye? It's just my point.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is. It's not. I don't have an argument.
Yeah, I know. It's my Tatis thing with you earlier. We're kind of saying similar things, but posing.
But I think it's frustrating because are you starting to come to a point right now to where, again, I go back to this. If you're going to have the Manny batting 170, 180,
right,
struggling at the plate, clutch situations, grounding into double plays. The game 1 against the Phillies on Monday, then you ground into the strikeout.
The bases loaded, later 2 on. Yesterday in the 8th inning, the check swing. I could have beat that ball out, Alan. I'm not kidding.
Okay, so again, I think the issue with Machado is you need to be having numbers like this towards the end of your contract.
Right.
Not
age
with
40.
X amount of years left.
I agree with that.
And you're already in this potential spiral.
Completely agree with you. What are we even talking about?
I think we're just Padres. No, I think we're just I think there's a frustration that, I mean, this is how far across we've gone. They scored 2 runs on average over a 9-game span.
Right.
They went 3-6. They suck at home, and we're not sure why they're so bad at home, but they're bad at Petco.
Crowds.
They're bad at Petco. Tatis hasn't hit a home run. It's May 27th. Machado is batting under 180 or 170, whatever the case is. You have all these other players that are struggling. You got a pitching staff that's doing everything they possibly can to keep them in it. You got Steven Souza Jr., who we're going after because the Padres are so bad offensively. The question is, should they fire their hitting coach? And as we all sit here, they're still 7 games over 500. Could be the Cubs and lost 10 in a row.
It could be.
By the way, I think them and Arizona are now tied.
The Padres in Arizona are now tied. By the way, Manny Machado is providing a vote of confidence for Steven Souza at this hour. This from Marty Caswell. Those coaches, they don't grab a bat. It's on us to go out there and perform. Manny Machado this afternoon, following today's Padres loss, shutout loss.
I'm going to tell you something. Then when that individual gets fired, then that's on your back.
Right, exactly.
So there will be a fall guy. This is just how it works. If I'm running a business tomorrow and all of a sudden the business isn't doing well, you can fire your individual salespeople, or you can fire your general manager. Most likely they're going to fire your general manager.
Sure.
They're going to say, wait a minute here. We're having a lot of success. New GM comes in, and now all of a sudden, all our sales are off. They're not going to go fire 8 or 10 salespeople. They're going to go with the GM. Right. And if you're a sales manager and you're saying, yeah, but I love my GM, and this GM is awesome. Yeah, but you're not getting any production. That's the GM that ends up being fired. So on Manny Machado to say that it's on us, not him, you're saying the right thing, but you're about to get your boy fired if you're another 50 games in and you got the worst offense in baseball.
Completely agree. We will hear from Craig Stammen next. We will give away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. If you want a chance to win those tickets, open the iHeartRadio app right now, search for 760, click the red talkback microphone, and just vent on the Padres if you want. Whatever you open up on the talkback mic is fair game. We'll get to some of those. One of you will win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Plus, Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5:30 live from Petco Park. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin Acee is going to join us at 5:30. Can we hear from Craig Stammen, by the way? Craig Stammen, Padres manager, has spoken with the media. Padres are swept at home by the Phillies.
They play today?
Padres?
I had no idea they played today.
They lost.
Today?
Out. Yeah, 2-0.
Really?
No, 3-0.
Interesting.
Yeah, Trey Turner homered.
They play that often? Because they played yesterday.
They play almost every day. They're not playing tomorrow, though.
Wow.
But they'll play another 107 times, at least, this year.
Really interesting.
Let's hear from Craig Stammen. This starts with reaction to the series, and you're going to hear about Steven Souza in here as well.
Tough 3 games. They're starting pitchers on a little bit of a roll right now, to say the least. Pretty darn good. We battled him, but just not quite good enough.
What did you think of Walker Buehler's day today and the efficiency he was able to provide?
Yeah, he pitched great. It was, low pitch count. Got there the 3rd time through the lineup. They're big left-handed hitters that have kind of given us trouble this year and over all the years, and felt like we needed to bring one of our best guys in from the bullpen to try to shut that inning down, and, a couple balls through the hole, and that's how they scored.
You kind of addressed it, but you do that 1,000 times. So he got the 2 ground balls. He's good at stranding runners, Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel good about it. Feel good about that decision. Walker probably would have done something similar, given up weak contact. Maybe they go out somebody, maybe they don't. It's the guessing game of baseball.
There's been a couple times during this streak where you guys haven't brought a runner in scoring position. That also the situation hitting like today. Is that how much of a disappointment is that you're not getting like the productive outs?
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, for those guys offensively, and us, just not taking advantage of some of the opportunities that we did have. There's a little credit to their pitching, but also we've got to figure out a way to be better. We've got to figure out a way to be better in those situations. Runners in scoring position, we're searching for that big hit. Maybe sometimes we're trying to do it a little too much, but we got to stay within our approach and hit some line drives.
Have you seen anything change in those at-bats? Because as you alluded to the other day, you were pretty good for most of the season in those spots.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know why they would have any reason to change. Sometimes, it's just the ebbs and flows of a season. You're just never going to be amazing at it the entire year, and this is a part of the season where we're struggling.
I just think of Jackson's at-bats today after kind of a tough day yesterday. Seemed to bounce back nicely against some tough pitchers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a couple great at-bats by him today. Battled, tough left-on-left matchup for him, and for him to, that opposite field single, that's what, when he first came up, that's what his bread and butter was too. And I think a little bit of that just mindset of getting back to that, and then seeing one go in, that first at bat was nice to see, and then gets another double down the line. So, hopefully he's trending in the right direction, and that's good news for the Padres.
It's starting to look like more natural for Tatis at second base. I mean, obviously he was always athletic enough to handle it, but just in terms of maybe getting more acclimated.
Yeah, he's I think he's taking something that looked normal to him and making it look spectacular, just like he does about everything else. So it's fun to see him over there at second base make some plays that, he made look easy today that are very difficult. He's definitely turning into one of the best second basemen in all of baseball.
Maybe it's a little bit like the answer for the situational hitting, but what are you guys seeing with the strikeouts for you guys being up so much this year?
What do you mean? Striking outs being a lot of strikeouts this year. Yeah, we're striking out a lot, and we've got to figure out a way to change that.
You had said in spring how you weren't going to have catchers, be assigned, and it kind of was like the same guys were catching, and then you've mixed it up recently, like Freddie today in for Walker. What was that?
Yeah, I just wanted to get Freddie in there. He's the guy that we've trusted as our number one catcher, going in the season. And we gave him a little bit of a breather to kind of get his body right a little bit. And now, he's our guy. We got to trust him, especially against, good pitching. And, felt like him and Walker will work fine together, and they worked really good today. So, those things are always movable and pliable. Certain guys do certain well with certain catchers, and sometimes it doesn't really matter. And I think we got a lot of pitchers, it doesn't really matter, but it's a nice way to break up those guys and keep them fresh.
How do you kind of look at this where it's like the offense has been struggling and cool, get to go up against Christopher Sanchez today? Is there not that you're throwing it away and not taking, but I'm just wondering what your takeaway is from it. There's
nothing better than playing Major League Baseball and getting to take on the best and getting to figure out if you're good enough to compete. And if if you can beat that person. And so today was a challenge that we didn't have success with. But again, we're going to see a guy like that down the road, probably in a week. We're going to see him again. and we're going to step up to the plate and take that challenge on and have some fun with it and try to figure out if we're good enough.
I don't know if there's an easy way to segue from this series into the next series, but you're going to Washington to manage as the opposing manager in Washington. You spent a lot of time there. What are your kind of thoughts on what that'll be like for you?
Yeah, I think it's a series that a few of us on the coaching staff have circled for a while and are excited to go back to a place that we considered home for a long time. Randy Knorr, Bobby Henley, myself, Nick Pivetta, Lucas Giolito, all his former Steven Souza Jr., forgot about him. All of us, got our taste of the big leagues with that team and had a lot of success in that stadium and a lot of good memories. So it'll be good to go back. It's always been good to go back, even as a member of the Padres. And this will be a different, way of going back for me, but it'll be equally as fun.
Craig, there's been a lot of talk about Steven Souza Jr. kind of considering the struggles offensively. Can you kind of enlighten some of us just how much of a role he has with the approach on offense and during these struggles, what he's trying to do to change things up?
Yeah, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with him. This is the Padres hitting. This is the Padres organization and how we go about taking at bats. It's on all of us, and more specifically, probably on me. I'm the one in charge, and we've got to figure out a way to hit.
All right, so not on Steven Souza per Craig Stammen. Manny Machado said the same thing when asked this afternoon.
You know what's dangerous is when all those questions start going towards your hitting coach. And they're going to start defending him, which is the right thing to do. And Machado's answer is the right one. Craig Stammen answer is the right one. But the fact that this is becoming more of a conversation, I'm sure you bring it up in all the Padres content you do. We bring it up as well. Maybe more recently, maybe not. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a decision made today, but I'll go back to it. You can't be 100 games in. And if you're in a win now mode, that's where the organization is. It's different when the pressure's not on. Sure. You know, one of my favorite things about growing up my entire life in San Diego, and you know this more than anybody else because you've been here long enough covering the team, there have been a lot of times through our lifetime where it's okay to lose. And right now is a very unique situation with the Padres where it's like, no, it's not okay to lose.
Right.
You're selling out that ballpark the way you are. It's not okay to lose. You can't go a deadline without trying to be aggressive. That's a beautiful thing, in my opinion, because the expectations have changed for the Padres.
Yeah.
Steven Souza, as we have that conversation, there's going to be heat that goes towards him, not because he's done something wrong, but when you have a team that's all struggling the way the Padres are, batting averages as low as it is, stars aren't doing what they're doing, it's impossible not to look at your hitting coach.
I mean, I find it's fair to certainly look at your hitting coach. I find it interesting that Craig Stammen even prefaced it at the end by saying, if anything, look at me. No, don't give me look over here. I like it. Craig Stammen's done a great job.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? As a leader, that's what you're supposed to do.
But I don't buy it. Like, if anything, look at me. Why? Why would I ever look at you? You're not even in the hitting meetings, dude. You're not part of the hitting meetings. You've never hit once in the big leagues. What on earth could your role be?
What do you want him to say?
How could you be responsible?
But what do you want him to say?
No, I appreciate him saying it.
You know what I'm saying? But like, he's the manager of the team. You can have somebody, an NFL coach that doesn't call any of the offensive plays, is going to say, we got to figure this out together.
Right. Yeah, no, he has nothing else he can say. Just like Manny Machado today defended Steven Souza Jr.
It's different, but I know what you're saying. You're saying Manny Machado has a direct.
He's a hitter.
He's a hitter. He's the guy getting paid what he is and hitting under 170.
It's a hard conversation because you have to. Everyone wants an answer when things aren't going right. Unfortunately, I don't know if there is one. Because they could fire Steven Souza Jr. yesterday. Now create something that we don't know the outcome. Maybe it ignites their offense. Like the Phillies fired their manager. It ignited their team.
Maybe it does nothing.
What if it doesn't?
But here's what I would do. And here's, you can't just keep doing this. I'm going to go back to what I said. If you're 100 games in, again, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And maybe over the next couple of weeks, the Padres, you're going to get some of these players. Brother, we've been saying for over 30 days, Tatis is going to hit a home run. Yep. 30 days later, and we haven't said anything.
More than 30.
And if we get another 30 days in where he hasn't hit a home run, I don't know if Souza goes, but there's a certain point where you have to say, we have to try something different. And they could all sit here and say it's not on him, which I agree. I don't think it's on him, but it's a results-driven business. And again, if the Padres had no expectations, and this year wasn't even like, yeah, they're going to end up fourth in the NL West and nobody really cares, and there wasn't this buzz around the city and the place wasn't sold out every time, then maybe you can go a little bit quieter under the radar. They don't have the contracts to go under the radar. They have the expectations that they can't go under the radar. They started the season out strong, so where they can't go under the radar. You can't get 100 games in and continue to have the same results and just say, I hope it turns around.
I'd have to look at their hitting last year. Maybe I'll do it at the break. I mean, it's not like they hit last year. Now, they fired their hitting coach at the end of the year, but they were not a good hitting team last year.
Yeah,
now,
hitting what cost them in the postseason.
Maybe this is a worse hitting team, but they weren't a good hitting team last year, and they didn't get rid of their hitting coach until the season was over.
They didn't have guys doing what they're doing right now, and they didn't have their stars doing what they're doing right now.
Not right now. That is correct. All right, we're going to get to the wrap. Coming up on the other side, Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, joining us at 5:30. Do we have a winner of the 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair? We can give it away on the other side if we want, but we do have a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair for someone that weighed in on the talkback mic this afternoon. So we can do that coming up. Do you want to do that on the other side, Brent? All right, we'll announce the winner of that 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair coming up next. The wrap coming up next. Kevin Acee at 5:30. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by eBay. The Padres lost game 3 of their series to the Phillies today down at Petco Park, getting swept. They lost 3-0 today. They have an off day tomorrow, and then they travel to Washington for a weekend set with the Nationals. No NBA playoffs today, but the Western Conference Finals are back tomorrow, and we got game 6 of Spurs Thunder. They'll tip a little after 5:30. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your story. From your favorite vintage band tee to the dream car you've been searching for, or that foul ball you heroically gave away. It's all there on eBay. eBay, things people love.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer. San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Your Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, final hour here on Schaefer and Sliwa should be a good one. Let's start this hour by announcing our winner of a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. You were eligible to win this ticket package by weighing in on our talkback mic. We've got another giveaway this hour for someone on the talkback mic, but can we get a drum roll here from Brent? All right, Alan, do you know who the winner is? This 4-pack of tickets.
4-pack of tickets
to the San Diego
County Fair. The winner is?
I already forgot the name, to be honest with you. Jake. Congratulations to Jake.
Cronenworth.
No, maybe. Honestly, maybe he's listening in. Maybe he's listening.
All right, Jake is our winner.
Jake is our winner. And Jake, here's what you've won. A 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Once upon a fair, there was a tale of food, fun, friends, family, laughter, tradition, music, amazement, and more. The fair, the biggest and longest running event in San Diego County, makes its triumphant return June 10th through July 5th. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Visit sdfair.com to plan your happily ever after. This hour, we'll give away a pair of tickets to see Chicago at the fair. It includes tickets to the show and tickets to the fair. Open up the app, search for 760, click the talkback mic, weigh in and vent on the Padres, and you are eligible to win those tickets to see Chicago. And by the way, Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5:30.
Okay, there you go.
Do you have a hard-hitting question for Kevin? As we sit here right now, all the Steven Souza related, is it offense, special teams, defense?
Maybe some big picture questions that we hit on.
All right.
Maybe some of that Machado leadership.
Interesting. All right. Well, Kevin will join us live.
Yeah.
Coming up at 5:30. But right now, let's get to this. Oh, yeah, the wrap. We'll get to the wrap here in 1 second.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. We got
Time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's had the better series so far, Shea or Wemby?
Better series so far, Shea or Wemby? That's actually a good question. I'll go Wemby because I think Wemby's highs have been higher than, I mean, not that he's been consistent because he hasn't. In the wins that they've got, Spurs obviously down 3-2. In the wins that they've got, he basically has single-handedly carried the San Antonio Spurs. I think with Shea, shooting percentage is down. He doesn't seem efficient. I mean, yesterday he got to the free throw line a ton, but I don't know if they're winning these games specifically because of Shea. A lot of these other players step up in the wins. It could be McCain. It could be Alex Caruso. It could go down with Chad Holmgren. I feel like for the Spurs, the only way they win is if Wemby has a big game. So I think he's having the better series, even though his squad's down 3-2.
Yeah, completely agree. I don't think Shea has been vintage Shea. He even said in his post-game interview, he was asked, like, what's it going to take for you to say you had a good game this postseason? He said, when I have a good game, I'll say it. He scored 32 points yesterday. A lot of that from the free throw line. I think it was 7 for 19 from the field. And he really has struggled with his mid-range jumper. But, I mean, they're a win away from the NBA Finals. And he's a 2-time MVP, and he won last year, and they'll be favored to do it again if they get there this time around. But I think Wemby has had the better series. That game one was the stuff of legend.
And even the bounce back when they fall 2-1, he comes back, hits that half-court shot, has unbelievable numbers. Listen, Victor Wembanyama is only 22 years old. The Spurs, if I'd have told you how far the San Antonio Spurs were going to get this year, they have surpassed a lot of people's expectations. But if they're going to get to the finals, they need 2 big-time performances from Wemby, and they also need these other guys. De'Aaron Fox De'Aaron Fox has been basically a non-factor all series.
Nothing yesterday.
They're going to need a lot of players to step up because OKC is getting guys that are stepping up outside of Shea.
Winning without Jalen Williams. They're a win away without Jalen Williams having played the last 4 games.
I know.
Next question.
Is there any hope for the Padres offense?
Yes, I think there is. I mean, again, if you told me that this was 3 years in a row Manny Machado was batting 180, I'd have a different conversation with you. If you told me this is 3 years in a row that Tatis isn't hitting more than 10 home runs, Jackson Merrill, I mean, I think this season has been an outlier. It doesn't mean that their numbers aren't trending down, but is there hope? Of course there's hope. But it's really difficult to try to, predict that hope is there when they just don't give me some kind of momentum. Start showing me over a course of 2 weeks that, hey, Tatis is up to 4 home runs. Machado is blazing. When you start looking at, they do this all the time on, certain networks, or I'm sure people grab it. Hey, this is the hottest hitter in baseball. When's the last time you seen anything on the Padres? Maybe Sheets for a couple of weeks there.
Yeah, I mean, there's hope, but not for them to be one of the better offenses in the sport. There's hope for them to be better because it's going to be hard to be worse. But there's not hope for them to turn into a top 10 offense in the sport. So can you win without having that? Yes, you can. And they've got good pitching and defense. They've allowed 6 unearned runs this year, which is insane. The fewest in baseball. So they beat you in a number of ways. But no, I don't think there's any hope for them to be an elite offense. Hopefully there's hope for them to be a better offense moving forward. Next question.
Which Aztec football game are you most looking forward to?
I'm going to do this one just because this was my backyard for a number of years.
Okay.
That's kind of cool to get up to the Rose Bowl and go see a game in Pasadena.
Week 2
against UCLA. Mm-hmm. I think that's a game I'm probably looking most forward to. Spent a lot of years in Pasadena, still kind of go back and forth. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's kind of, let's get SDSU to come into the Rose Bowl of Pasadena and go dominate a kind of a pathetic UCLA program.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it won't be easy. Obviously.
I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, but they have been they've literally been a complete non-factor for.
Yes, and they got a new coaching staff. And actually, San Diego State, the last time they played there, won. Their only ever win against UCLA was in 2019, on like a 120-degree day at noon at the Rose Bowl. I have circled James Madison. I'll tell you why. Founding father. Now, this is the school I'm circling, but James Madison, the person, founding father. 250th anniversary of the country is this year. You're getting him here in this fine American city of San Diego. So I'm circling a forefather in the 250th anniversary of the country.
Playoff team last year.
And yes, and a very good program. They're led by the former Gator head coach Billy Napier now, also a first-year head coach. It'll be a very challenging game. It would be an amazing game to get. James Madison coming to you, a one-off game, week 3, 7 p.m., Snapdragon Stadium. Like the forefather here.
Yeah, you kind of sold me on that. Like that being a better game than the UCLA Rose Bowl one.
UCLA, I hope a lot of Aztec fans are at the Rose Bowl too for that.
Yeah, probably got a lot of alum that's even in that LA area.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Next question.
John's going to wear his powdered wig for that one.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would you guys be surprised if the Knicks won the NBA Finals?
Would you be surprised? Yes, I would be. I'm going to be honest. They've been on such a tear. Give them all the credit in the world. I'm the only one that had faith in them. You had them out against the Cavs.
Did I?
No, you actually had them beating the Cavs. But it, for those who weren't listening to that show, it makes me look better. I at this point I'd still be surprised, just because everyone's been talking about whether it's fair or not. It's the winner in the Western Conference Finals that's going to eventually win a championship. The Knicks have won 11 games in a row. But still, to just kind of see that the New York Knicks are the last team standing, the last championship they won was in the early 70s. When Phil Jackson was a player for that team, I'd still be surprised if it happens.
Yeah, I agree with you in terms of being surprised. I don't think I'll be shocked. I don't think it's Chaminade over Virginia.
No.
To date myself. Like, I don't know if it's historic.
At this point, it's like it could happen, but I'd still be...
Yeah, the fact that they've won these 11 consecutive playoff games is just changing my tune on what the NBA Finals is going to look like. Now, they're not going to have home court, right? So they're going to have to win on the road at some point along the way. And they're going to be playing these elite teams, whether it's Oklahoma City or San Antonio. But it's hard to bet against the Knicks right now. Just Jalen Brunson, how good their offense has been. Just sweep, sweep, sweep.
You know what could also be?
What's
just
that?
think about it this way. The competition in the Eastern Conference. Okay. So like think about here for a second. If you're the I don't know if I have a great example, but if you were trying to get through in the West, you'd get Minnesota or you'd get Houston in the first round. Then you'd get like Denver or San Antonio in the second round. Then you'd get the Oklahoma City Thunder. It could also just be that the Knicks play teams that are not championship worthy.
True. It's a good point.
Are the Cavs championship worthy? Are the Atlanta Hawks championship worthy? I don't think any of that is the case. So I think with that in mind, I think that one's a little bit different.
All right. Speaking of the NBA, has arguably the best player in the league become a villain? We'll explain that on the other side. Plus, of course, more reaction to the Padres getting swept at home by the Padres. And Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, will join us coming up at 5:30. We're giving away tickets to see Chicago as well. Hit us up on the talkback mic. Open the app, search for 760. Click on the red microphone icon. Here until 6. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 and iHeartRadio present our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the biggest music event of the year. Legendary performances from the biggest names in music and once-in-a-lifetime collaborations. We'll announce a complete lineup for this year's show and let you know how you can win tickets before they go on sale. Everything you need to know happens Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Another once-in-a-lifetime music event from iHeartRadio and San Diego Sports 760. Good stuff there. You always tell me, like, hey, you got to read. And every time you say it, I'm like, hey, well, how about this? How about don't worry about the reads?
You going to remember?
Then I forget all of them.
That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, I would forget them too when I was reading them. So that's why I'm reminding you. Say, hey, you got to read here.
Remember the cornhole game? One of the greatest comebacks in the history of cornhole happened
Today,
about
we
3
played
hours
cornhole.
ago.
I was up 2 games to none. We said best of 5.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to say what actually happened.
Wait.
The conditions were a factor. I wouldn't typically play in that type of wind.
Okay. Can I give you this? Let me just give a quick little background. There's a coffee shop across the street.
Yeah.
I like to go get my afternoon coffee.
You do. You do.
I like to go get a nice cup of coffee before the show starts. We're on our way back from the coffee shop and we see cornhole. Beautiful day outside.
Yeah.
Grass
Outdoor
right in the
setup.
grass. You took your shoes off. You were barefoot, and we decided let's get a game in. One thing we didn't do, which I think we got to do next time we do this, because this is probably going to become.
You want to play for money?
We're good. We're fine. Is the switch sides after every round?
Switch sides. I didn't mention that.
It didn't count.
And also, I don't know why we played best of 5, because I won the first game. I would have been content just to win, but then after I won the first game, it went to best of 5.
You had you had a couple clutch.
I did
this
early.
Is the time
Early.
And then late. Some of those
I had some
kind of short armed a couple of these.
I know, like I am here with the trash can.
You going? You go.
Here, all right. The crumpled up piece of paper in the trash can. Oh,
that was actually good art. That one was good.
All right, Kevin Acee at 5:30, right?
Yep.
If you want to win the Chicago tickets, open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the talkback mic, vent on the Padres, and we can play it on air, and we'll announce a winner coming up later for a pair of tickets to see Chicago at the San Diego County Fair. Can I ask this question? Simple question.
Yep.
Is Victor Wembanyama turning into either a villain or a bully? I'll give you 2 examples.
Oh, is this the? I caught this late on social.
What was the deal? Last night he's checking out. 2 minutes to play. They're done. They've lost.
He goes to Bismack Biyombo.
And he goes to Mason Plumlee and whispers in their ear.
Yep.
Then McCain, who has been awesome.
Been phenomenal.
For the Thunder. He's been terrific. He took not 1, but 2 ridiculous cheap shots. Seriously. One of them from Plumlee, he just ran over him in the back.
Plumlee was, and McCain's looking here. Okay.
And Wemby then post-game as the star of the Spurs, this 22-year-old dominant piece.
Not talking.
Bailed on the media and got fined today by the NBA for not speaking to the media.
Okay, let me hit on all these because I like this. Yeah. When I saw that stuff go down yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, I love these storylines.
Yeah,
it's a good series,
right?
It's a good series because there's a little bit of these 2 teams don't like each other.
Agreed.
Victor Wembanyama frustrated yesterday that they can't figure out how to get a win. So I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute here. Did you just go tell 2 of your dudes to, by the way, go take out the smallest dude on the floor? Jerry McCain ain't a big guy. Bismack Biyombo wasn't taking out Isaiah Hartenstein. He wasn't taking out one of these other players where it's like size to size.
No, Plumlee's also huge.
2 enforcers go take out arguably the smallest player on the floor. 2 things came to my mind when I saw that. Number 1, I kind of liked it.
Interesting.
Like I kind of liked we don't know what happened during the game. Maybe McCain was running his mouth. We don't know.
Maybe.
I have no idea. But I liked it because if I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm running that tape back and forth. And it's like, wait a minute. You took out one of our guys who actually plays. Not took him out, but you know what I'm talking about. Are you sure you don't want to use one of your regular players? Because we can go do the same thing. I could have Alex Caruso come and take out a Castle or a Vassell or, you pick the player that it is. Cheap shots. But in the NBA playoffs, I kind of like it. The problem is I think that's going to motivate the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Here's what it reminds me of. After the Lakers went down 2-0 and had this powwow with the officials at center court.
They almost just looked kind of dumb, to be honest.
Well, they looked like hey, it's the officials. The officials are the reason why we're
That
trailing
we've
the series
lost
2 games down.
18.
And it's like OKC took that personally. And
That's
it's
a good
almost
point.
and
That's
it's
a
almost
great
like
point.
what Wemby is doing there is being like, hey, maybe McCain is dirty, or hey, we're going to need you to rough him up because their bench is hurting. Whatever the motivation for Wemby doing that, I think it backfires similarly to whatever the Lakers' motivation was for going to the officials. Oklahoma City does not mess around. This team has a ridiculous pedigree. Ridiculous. Their ability to win when guys don't even have great nights is uncanny, is it not? Their bench is arguably as good as we've ever seen in NBA history in terms of productivity from their bench.
Brother, when they go to their bench, I'm like,
oh, here it
we
came.
go.
So Shea starts the fourth quarter on the bench. They're outscoring the Spurs for those. He's on the bench until there's under 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. He shoots 7 of 19 and they win going away. You don't want to
without Jalen Williams, without AJ Mitchell. They have, we were talking about it a little bit on the wrap. They have something that's very, very unique. And by the way, if the Thunder win this year,
look out.
Like I honestly don't even know what to tell you. Do you know they're trying to, they have too many first rounders that they have to trade up.
So they have to trade up to get rid of a pick.
They have they only have so many roster spots. You could shout out the Los Angeles Clippers in that. But let's go back. Let's go back to what you just said. I think if you're the San Antonio Spurs, it showed weakness. It showed that, I don't know if we have an answer, take a couple of cheap shots here, try to send a message to this player. But if you think by a 7-footer that weighs 265, taking out Jared McCain wasn't going to motivate every one of these Thunder players, I agree with you. I don't think that was a smart move from an entertainment perspective from where we sit in our seat. I think it makes me want to tune into game 6 even more. But do I think strategically that was smart? I don't.
I think there's this general belief that, all right, this is going to go 7 and maybe OKC will find a way on its home floor to win that game. I think OKC right now closes this series out in 6. I think a lot of people believe this goes 7 because it's just going 7, right? Because it's now Wemby back home and they need to win this game. I think OKC, they took that personally.
It goes 7.
You think it goes 7?
I think it goes 7 because San Antonio is also really good.
Great team.
Are you going to have some of these players like De'Aaron Fox, some of these other guys play as poorly as they did? Wemby obviously understands, like you and I talked about, when he plays well, when he performs, they win. I just have a difficult time San Antonio losing this series in 6, losing at home.
Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, joining us live on the other side, reacting to a Padres sweep at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies, where San Diego gets shut out again at Petco Park. Kevin Acee with the latest live. Coming up next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
The support is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The Padres got swept today by the Phillies in Game 3 of their series down at Petco Park, 3-0. They are off tomorrow, and they travel to Washington for a weekend set against the Nationals. No NBA playoffs tonight, but we got Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night at 5:30 when the Spurs take on the Thunder. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
All right, always great to connect with Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider. He'll be on his way for the nation's capital, where the Padres will open a series against the Nats coming up this weekend. But first, full reaction to the Padres' really disappointing homestand. 3-6 at home. Of course, the offensive struggles continue. Once again, highlighted by a shutout defeat today at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tell me if this is fair or unfair, Kevin, just in general. I'll just start here. Are we reaching the point where Steven Souza will be under a microscope when we consider how bad this has been through 55 games, or is that going too far at this point?
Yeah, I think he's under a microscope. I don't know that it's the same kind of glare or the intent that it seems is growing on the outside, has been growing or whatever. But yeah, sure, there are certain things that they're looking at for sure, and they have been. They have been looking at, and things got a little better in Seattle and did not in this series. And in no way am I making excuses, though no one has scored against Christopher Sanchez a long time. But, they faced like 5 good pitchers, the kind that they're going to have to be better against. But it's just like their offense sucks. But like this homestand didn't show that. It's just the whole season has.
Yeah, it's interesting, Kevin, when you say they face a lot of good pitching, and obviously that's what you can expect in the postseason. And does that give you an indication that they go up against elite pitching, which is all they're going to face? These are the results that you're going to get. I'm curious. The 3-6 homestand. What do you think? Why do you think they're having so much trouble at home? They're 500. Obviously the atmosphere at Petco is always electric. You got a ton of Padre fans that are always excited to see the team. What does that kind of seem odd to you that they're struggling like this at home?
Yeah, sure. They started off 2-4, and then they had this homestand, right? So is that 5 and 10? So like, other than that, they're above 500. Yeah. And let's not get a little like in no way. I probably shouldn't even go here because the fans don't deserve in any way for there to be anything but praise for what fans in San Diego have done. But electric might be exaggerating the 2026 crowds at Petco. Like it just might be. It just might be. The team hasn't inspired anybody to be electric, is what I would say the number one thing is. And then I think you got to look at it hasn't been the 46, 47,000 except once, I think, besides opening day. So I probably shouldn't even go there. It's not what you asked, but that's okay. One of my things right now is that like it hasn't exactly been the same this year, and I'm putting a lot of that on the performance on the field.
Kevin, I'll tell you, in every game that I've been to so far this year at Petco, and this is from a fan perspective, just there enjoying the game. I know what you're saying, and again, I think that's kind of comes with the 162 game grind, and maybe I'm going on a weekday where it's not going to be, and I think it probably comes down to more than anything else, what usually gets fans just wildly excited. Either Mason Miller coming out to close a game because you got the hoopla that comes with that, or scoring runs and getting home runs, and that obviously hasn't been the strength of the Padres.
Manny Machado, Kevin Acee's with us, right? You want to react to that, Kev?
No, absolutely. And look, again, I maybe I didn't say it the right way, or maybe it's just like a really dumb thing to bring up. But like my point too is like Padres fans have set the bar pretty high here in recent seasons. So it's just like the team hasn't given them a whole lot to rumble about or whatever, right? Like it's just been a weird, maybe just a bad start to the season in that way.
Yeah, and I don't know how many runs it was this homestand, but it was something like 18. Maybe it was 19. But
I think they averaged 2.
Yeah, 2 runs or 2.1 runs per game, whatever it was. I mean, there's not a lot to cheer for to our collective points. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. Kevin, you're hearing what Manny Machado is saying after these games, what he was saying yesterday. I think he is taking some accountability today. I think he defended the hitting coach, Steven Souza Jr. What do you make of where Machado, obviously we know about his struggles on field. What are you hearing from Manny Machado about the spot that he is in right now, 55 games into this season?
Well, he honestly has been saying, and I got to be honest, like kind of even sometimes he is hitting better now. His approach is better. His contact, the type of contact is better. It's not good. Like, it's not like what it should be. But finally, what I will say is that in the last week, maybe tiny bit more, this homestand maybe, when he says that they're just not dropping, I'll go ahead and buy that this last homestand. Before that, when he was saying it, I'm like, well, no, they're like, you're striking out and hitting them on the ground. Like, of course they're not dropping. He's actually had some pretty good at-bats this homestand. I feel like he's on the verge. I was surprised at that terrible game the other day with the 6 guys left on base, 4 of them in scoring position, 3 different at-bats. Like, I was surprised by that. I feel like he's close. I really do. Does anyone want to hear that from me or him or anyone else right now when he's batting? Is it under 170 now? I don't know. But, like, no, they don't. But, like, if we're just going to go on results, well then, hey, the Padres are 7 games over, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're just going to go on results, we got to go on results both ways. And we could just be like, way to go, Padres. Like, you're 7 games over. But we don't, right? We have to look at, like, the grander thing and what does it mean and what might it mean going forward.
And by the way, based off of that, 7 games over 500, they've lost 4 in a row. They go 3-6 on that homestand. And now you're looking up in the NL West standings, and you're not just staring up at the Dodgers. Arizona's won, I think, 10 of 11 or whatever you were saying, John. But they're now the same identical record as the Diamondbacks. I'm going to try to find some positives to talk about, because hopefully the Padres are going to figure out and get some more offense. What have you thought of the pitching in whether it's the starters or some of these bullpen guys? It feels like they're keeping them in games, and unfortunately there isn't timely hitting, there isn't clutch hitting, and that's really obviously been the difference. But what have you made of the pitching?
The pitching has been fantastic, and that's different than me saying it's good enough, right, for October, right? Like, but when you tell me that Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove have made 3+ combined starts, and that they're staying in games and they're getting what they're getting from Walker Buehler. And I think the starting pitching has been more than adequate. And the bullpen, look, 2 ground balls today and he blew it. That's, Morejon's supposed to not blow it. Right. But like, other than like the last, 10, 12 games, the bullpen has been like virtually perfect. So, the pitching, first, what I'll say is the hitting's got to be better before we're concerned about the pitching, but that's obviously not true. We have to think about it all. And I think the pitching has been good enough for them to still be 11 games over 500. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Their pitching has put them in a position where they should be winning the games. It's been on the strength of the pitching. Yeah, obviously, that they're 31-24. Kevin Acee is with us right now. You talked about Machado, some of his recent plate appearances or his approach. Are we seeing Fernando Tatis Jr. turning any corner? He's reached in 10 or 11 consecutive games. I think he's had 8 hits in his last 4 games. Again, he's still sitting without that home run. How much of that is part of the conversation as opposed to what we're seeing in terms of him reaching base safely as much as he has?
I think they're better, right? Until we get a home run, we can't be like, oh, Toddy is back. Right. It's also not like the line drive singles. But one thing about Toddy is, speed doesn't slump, right? So he's been able to give himself a few hits. And then he has gone the other way. And, he has stopped that thing where he was bad Tatis, right? Like for a little bit, which he had been so good about not being bad Tatis early in the season. And then he was chasey Tatis and, it just wasn't good, and he stopped that. So I would say it's better. I mean, I feel just foolish. Like, I know I'm not wrong, but I feel foolish talking about, Tatis and Machado looking better recently. But that it is what it is. They're, they just gotta, the results have to come. They just do.
Kevin Acee joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. I know it's a random one. I know we don't talk about him a ton. How much of a conversation is it? I mean, Freddie Fermin was obviously a player that the Padres, I was excited about coming into this year, and you kind of really thought he was going to be able to be that everyday catcher, maybe even not every day, but a lot more effective, just have a bat that you can rely on. What have you kind of seen, or what's maybe the conversation around Fermin? I mean, he's got lost because there's been so many other players, but Fermin's got to be one of the more disappointing players this season.
For sure. And I love the way you phrase it. It's like he has been, and there's a probably good reason he's been lost, is he's not the reason. We tend to get caught in the peripheries, right? When things are going bad and we like, this guy should be better. Well, look, Fermin is way down the list, but you are absolutely correct. Like, he's got to be better. He was counted on to be better. That was supposed to be one of the upsides, that gave him the length, that they're going to get at least some dependable at-bats and a little bit of production out of the catcher position. And it hasn't happened. Look, he's played a lot before, not like this. People always talk about how he was behind Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez has DH'd a lot more recently, and Freddie's played a lot, not like this. And then, gosh, does it have something to do with just the beating that he's taken behind the plate this year? All of it? I don't know, but it is it's down the list. We wouldn't be talking about it if a couple guys were hitting better, a couple big guys, sure. But this is what we were counting. We were counting on way more from Freddie for me.
Final one for me, Kevin, is just how do we explain, or how do the Padres explain their remarkable lack of success with runners in scoring position here? Where I don't know what it's up to. 0 for their last 34, 0 for their last 35, something ridiculous. Where it's like, right, where do you even turn there? When people talk about what's going on with their approach, they don't have a plan, they're striking out too much. I think you can kind of look at that and say, that's a pretty decent point to be made, considering they've gone 35 consecutive at-bats without a hit with a runner in scoring position.
They went 34 last year. And now I only am going to say that just because you know how I am about contact.
Right.
Because I'm about to say that I don't think this they might have squeaked out another win or two during, maybe not this over 35 stretch, which goes back to the end of Friday's game, but like during this time when they've been so poor under Mike Schilt, they just found a way to do stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like what happened on Monday, it was Monday? Yeah, now it's Wednesday. So Monday, bases loaded first inning, 3 empty outs. I think it happened a couple more times in that game where they had, runners in scoring position with 0 outs and, get a guy over. They did that all the time under Mike Schilt. I'm not blaming Craig Stammen. I'm just trying to say, these guys need to do better that way. It happened again today. You need to get on this guy that was pitching today. He's filthy and he's feeling it and he hits edges and you need to get on him. So you get first and second with nobody out. You got to get a guy over, and there's just empty out after empty out.
Kevin, final one. We appreciate the time as always. What did you make earlier in the week? We got some quotes from Joe Musgrove and, talked a little bit about probably maybe get a chance to build up and be ready for after the All-Star break. Just your thoughts. I know that's, we always bring up him. We always bring up Nick Pivetta. I know they're completely two different timelines and paths and everything else. But what did you make of some of those quotes?
I thought it was at least positive that, okay, because I mean, you see the work they're doing, and it's work that guys that are going to pitch or are planning on pitching again are doing. This is not like guys that aren't planning on pitching again. And who knows? Does Nick come back and just give you what he's got, and then he's out like Joe was in 2024? Who knows, right? But the fact that they're at a point where they're talking about and they're doing more to be ready to throw is got to be seen as a positive, especially since, they were on that quote unquote active rest. And so I think it's a positive. I don't know that there's anything to take out of it beyond that. Like, oh, this means this. No, I don't. But like, hey, cool. Okay. So they're going to start throwing, or Joe's going to start throwing pretty soon, and Nick might not be too far behind him. I think that's a positive.
Yeah, better than the alternative, which is they're not going to be throwing anytime soon. Yeah. Kevin, always appreciate it. Travel safe to our nation's capital. We'll catch up with you on Friday, and thanks for doing it.
Right on. Take care.
Let's give away tickets to see Chicago on the other side. If you want to be eligible, open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click the talkback microphone, vent on the Padres. By doing that, you're eligible for a pair of tickets to see Chicago. Plus, we'll tell you about tomorrow's broadcast. We're on the road. We'll tell you where you can hang out with us on the other side. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We've been telling you for a while now about the hotel and spa over at Jamul. You will love it. You can experience elevated luxury with their refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together now in one unforgettable destination. And now take your stay to the next level. Exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. While you're there, so many great dining options. Jamul 23, Tony Gwynn's. At Jamul 23, enjoy lobster buffet every day. We're talking about lobster buffet, all you can eat, plus dozens of other delicious stations. Start your morning with their new signature breakfast buffet Monday through Friday, 8 to 10:30 a.m. with made-to-order omelets and fresh fruit and sweet and savory favorites. And at Tony Gwynn's, enjoy San Diego's favorite endless dining experience. That's every Wednesday through Sunday at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Final time today. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We have a winner of Chicago tickets, okay, which includes tickets to see the San Diego County Fair on June 10th. Now, the winner's name is going to come from Brent, all right, after we get a drum roll here. It's not a standard or typical name off our talkback mic for this giveaway. So,
was it like just his?
It's like letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Like C3PO.
Like most of the YouTube tag names, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
It's like if your parents named you by pulling random letters out of a hat.
Got you.
Right.
And said, there you go.
This is what you're running with.
Right. Okay, so who do we got here? Let's get a drum roll for today's winner of the Chicago tickets, June 10th at the San Diego County Fair. Who do you got, Brent?
BCCRX.
BCCRX. Congratulations, you're going to see Chicago.
He's a good dude.
Is that a new
BCCRX.
character in like The Mandalorian with Grogu?
I'll be honest with
If
you.
it's a dude, we don't know. Could be a girl.
Could be a girl.
Right.
We don't know.
Well, guess what? BCCRX.
CRX.
You're going to see Chicago June 10th.
Hell yeah.
On the Corona Grandstand stage at the San Diego County Fair, all part of the Toyota Summer Concert Series, featuring a variety of classic favorites and shooting stars, all aimed to appeal to a wide variety of music lovers. Once upon a fair in a land not so far away, the story of your San Diego summer begins. Shows all include same-day admission to the San Diego County Fair. For the best seats in the house, purchase tickets early at sdfair.com.
Let's go.
Now, Alan, do you know where we're going to be tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're going to be in the beautiful city of Chula Vista.
We will. Novo Brazil Otay Ranch location, which is a spectacular location.
I've never been to this one.
You're
I've just
gonna
been to
love
the
it.
Mission Valley one, so I'm looking forward to going up there.
Okay. Yes. It's a lot like it. I would say even larger, maybe, than their Mission Valley location. We're there from 3 to 6. We'll have an Aztec guest or two with us. They are doing a coach's caravan tomorrow in South County from Otay Ranch at that Novo Brazil location. So if you want to join us, swing by, say hello. Please do that. We'll be on the air from 3 to 6 tomorrow on a Padres off day. Ken, you ready for that upcoming series against the Nationals and talking some Aztecs athletics as well?
Beto, who does over at Rock 105.3, who I think is basically the mayor of all of Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Has already given me some places to go eat after. So we're going to go. I don't think you can go.
I
there.
got to work afterwards.
Well,
bring me back some tacos.
The problem is it's not the work portion. By the way, I have no problem doing that. I go get you some food and come back. The problem is going to be you basically can have like a quesadilla.
Why do you say that?
Because it's a carnita spot in Chula Vista.
I eat all that stuff.
You
I just pretend on air like I don't eat
that
meat.
you don't.
Correct. But once I'm off air, I'm pounding bacon and
all right.
everything.
If you're coming out tomorrow, you're going to join us, hang out for the show. You want to go get some carnitas after? We got a spot. We're going to go have some carnitas.
Now, are you a kombucha drinker? I don't know if I've asked you that question. It's a personal question. You don't have to
like
answer it.
alcohol or non-alcohol?
Either way.
I don't mind it. I don't go after it.
You
Yeah.
don't go after. Will you try some tomorrow at Novo? Because they have
Oh yeah. I'll do that.
25
Yeah.
different kombuchas on tap.
I'm in.
You're
yeah,
in.
no problem.
Okay, and I think they got beer on tap too, but they've got
No,
20
if we're
kombuchas.
going there and they're known for kombucha, I'll try some kombucha.
Oh yeah. All right, good. All right.
They usually say like pairing up things. You know how like, hey, have this red wine goes with this.
Yeah.
Most people say kombucha and carnitas. That's
Yes, they
like
do. I say kombucha and quesadillas.
Right.
Cheese quesadilla with kombucha. Sounds good to me. I love a good quesadilla, by the way.
Okay, so is that what I'm bringing you back?
Well, you don't.
I get you. Listen, I get you. Look, just hear me out here. Get a little play here. A little rice.
Yeah.
Some beans, some guacamole.
Oh, it's the best.
Quesadilla right there waiting for you.
No, but you don't have to because I'm going to be working that coach's caravan event. Then I got to race back to my place.
Okay, I'll
YouTube show.
eat carnitas by myself. That's fine.
That's kind of sad.
It's kind of fun.
But it's
Actually,
like,
it's not
gonna be
really. If I'm being
good.
honest with you,
It's going to be good.
I got
You
no
should be
problem
looking
doing the
forward
solo
to it.
stuff.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
no
100%
problem.
the
Bring
same
him an
way.
apple.
Yeah, I like apples. Yeah. Water.
Go to a local Sprouts. I'll grab you an apple.
Please.
Well, that was from, remember that one time when you and Rich went to that steakhouse for a remote and you brought an apple?
Steakhouse. It was like a barbecue
place.
joint. They're like, what's it called when you have like a pig on a skewer or whatever?
The rotisserie or whatever that is. Okay.
And I walked in there and they're like, hey, do you need anything? Do you want anything? And I knew I was going to like a steakhouse barbecue place in like East County. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I have an apple. And they were, that kind of ended the relationship, I think, between that place and the station, if I'm being honest. It wasn't a great look on my part.
So they're not
They're not currently with the station.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of my role.
I'd like to try to resurrect that.
It was about 7 years ago, I would say. I would say 2019 is when that played out. But if you guys want to rejoin the show,
come tomorrow, Chula Vista, Nova and or Otay Ranch, as you mentioned.
Yep, Nova,
come hang
Brazil.
out. Come hang out. We'll be there from 3 to 6. We'll all just kind of curse out the Padres in a certain way. Just the offense. Pitching, I got no
until
problem
they win on Friday. Then we'll say this is the best team,
greatest team I think I've ever seen.
Otay Ranch, Novo, Brazil location, broadcasting live from 3 to 6 tomorrow afternoon. Great stuff here today. If you missed anything, go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. This has been Schaefer and Sliwa.
See you guys
live on the iHeartRadio app here on San Diego Sports 760. Peace.